To see the fact that LGD, we obviously saw in some of the documentaries and such that it did get into LGD's head, all the chat will.
Because I feel like that's what a lot
right?
of people
There is a psychological element to Dota 2.
You don't think they've muted each other by now?
And I mean, I like playing along. Or not, they've muted OG and are just, spamming out chat wheel, hoping that they see it. But I like the fact that they're doing it just as much as OG is.
You've got to, you got to face your fears, right? OG on their terms. You can't run from them. You know that OG is doing it. You can't let it bother you.
And what better way to do it with tons of fans and friends supporting you here in Shanghai.
I can't believe both teams, by the way, have made it back.
I know, it's just so insane because we always talk about the marker, right, of first player to be able to win an international twice. And that the fact that it hasn't happened yet, 8 years of internationals, now on our 9th, the fact that it hasn't happened yet goes to show how hard it is to maintain that dominance in the Dota 2 field. That the competition level is so high that you just cannot be the best for very long.
I think it's because of the meta switches.
Yeah.
It's that, and it's the motivation. Once you won TI, you won it all. And once you've gotten second, I feel like we had that second place curse for a while, right? Where we saw DC, C-Deck, this team that just kind of falls off a cliff.
Yep.
It's so hard to motivate yourself to think you were that close to winning it all. On one side, you have a team that thinks to themselves, we worked so hard and we came up short. And you have another team that says, well, we've accomplished everything that we need to in Dota. The fact that they've been able to push themselves back to this level, both sides, it means they're hungry as ever. I mean, that's simply incredible.
The story with LGD, I think, is really interesting. Maybe, who had been long heralded as this god-tier player who was kind of chosen by a lot of the Chinese fans and such to be that player that would represent them and bring home the
Yeah, he is their champion.
Yeah, and I can see the motivation, I can see all the stories for them, but how does OG have the will to just make it through again? Back to back like this.
Yeah, it's incredible from both sides. Yeah. I respect the hell out of this competition. I'm sure they have a lot of mutual respect for each other. It must be so surreal looking over the stage and you see these guys and you think to yourself, here we go again.
By the way, I just want to point out the fact that we know that every single day OG has developed their own taunt meta, we'll say, right? Where it came with the sprays, now it comes with the flags that have been laying down the last few days. They've been changing up their icons every day for OG, and has been just different pictures of each other from the TI.
Oh, they chose
photo shoot? Yeah, right. It is. So, for example, Jerix has that top-in photo where he's pointing towards the camera, sort of like an invoker. That's actually one of my... There is a psychological... I have to imagine, to Dota 2.
You don't think they've...
These guys, they've been on this stage before, but having a pause like this, I wonder how much of a reset it bothers OG, who's a very momentum-based team, right? Whereas LGD obviously have yet to be able to hit their timings and their BKB, are able to plan out a little bit about what OG's next move is going to be. And it is kind of OG's, it's in their court, right? Because they...
细节忘掉了，还是会有可能会忘掉，因为在暂停的这一个过程中，可能会聊很多东西，比如未来2分钟里面要干什么，要指挥一波。
不过老干爹现在这边也比较明确，就是等地，然后不在这个时间内犯什么小失误，
刷就完事了。然后这里 no tail 好像是可能是他的机器。
But I like the fact that
这一盘我感觉这个阵往后打，老干爹上高是一个问题。
При том, что здесь, ну, я так понимаю, что это исключение из правил за International, потому что обычно в 10 или в 11 часов вечера...
Because you have a hero that, because I was thinking about it, why did they take Ember over Hero Storm, for example? And I think the reason why they took it is, this is another hero, he didn't go Boots of Travel, but he does have the ability to simply keep a Remnant, near his teammates, TP back, deal with the lane,
Be in
come
two
back
places,
in. And that's why he has to go for the BKB, because at some point, OG's going to read that trap.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, we can bring in our Orchid, Nature's Prophet, +1 hero. He's going to die every single time.
Yeah.
So you have to get that BKB. It's not just for the team fight, it's so that you can safely push out the side lanes. It's such a cool meta that's developed. Like, that's why the trap matters so much. Like, you need some way to deal with OG's ability to just can't let it with the waves at all times. You don't want the waves in your face. That's how OG sets up fights.
So just like we were talking about how LGD is going to identify OG's win condition in Anna's Faceless Void, how they're actually going to be able to start fights. The same's going to be happening. OG identifying how OG wants to move around the map and how they're going to try and counter that.
Yeah, I've watched their games. Like, I've watched a lot of replays. I like to watch the games live, but these games I study like 40 times. The finals and their upper bracket finals, because I found it so interesting, like the mini meta that has developed between these two teams, like why they pick the heroes that they pick.
It's just so
Because they've definitely developed like an internal meta anyways. They've extended their best of like 14 across 2 different tournaments now.
And we were in split, but we always talk about have the advantage of finding a double damage route. See whether or not LGD wants to try and take a fight against OG now that they have their double BKBs, one for Gyro, one for the Ember Spirit. Thompson, meanwhile, got Yule Scepter plus Boots of Travel. Anna has his Hand of Midas and is going to be working on a fast diffusal blade, so he's not as reliant on bashes or chronospheres. He'll block people down and get his damage in. After Seb finished up that Orchid, he's got a BKB on its way. So very fast timing.
And you notice that OG for once, they're not just looking for the straight up 5-man. They'll just continue to poke and prod, see where the weakness is for PSG.LGD, and as soon as they aren't together as 5. And you notice right here, Ame, he's playing away from his team. This is the correct move.
Yep.
Always play away from your team because you have the ability to gap close and come in to help them out. Gonna get gone up on that bottom for the time being, silenced up, but
he's ready to try and finish off Seb. Use the BKB as soon as he thinks he's got Seb dead, and Seb's gonna try to
that's and now he's level 17. Oh. He's level 17.
Okay, well that's halfway to a relic already for Ame.
That's the same level as the Zeus who's got the XP talent cap, just for context.
Okay.
That's more than double XP.
Competition level is so high. Well, you can see exactly why OG want to stay away from the 5-man fight right now, because PSG.LGD, they're very strong, which means their double BKBs and their blink dagger picked up by the timing. The worst thing that they can happen for OG is trying to challenge PSG.LGD and get caught into a Ravage situation.
And this is why I didn't think the game was 85-15, because PSG.LGD can just do this. They can set one hero at all times, Ame. You'll always see him be the one to push up the lanes, and as soon as he does, the rest of his team 4-man do whatever they feel like because they feel strong. Because they know that OG doesn't want to just get into a straight 5-on-5. That's OG's strength, but they've gone for something a little bit different here.
He's farming it really fast too. Like, even though he went for the straight BKB and not one of those farming items, he will have an Aghanim Scepter very soon. That's going to make this Gyro Copter extremely tanky.
I think these BKBs were more picked up so in case there is a team fight, but so you can secure these towers.
Yeah.
When you go for these tower pushes, OG, they'll see the smoke with the Zeus ulti.
How do you
get active in the lanes fast?
Once you have that kind of play where you smoke up, you have an idea of what you want to go for, and something like this happens where your smoke has been spotted out. You adapt, you keep on going for what your original
I think you get vision out.
Okay, you just use this moment to be able to get vision instead of fighting.
It's a little bit too obvious to get into a 5-on-5 situation.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just awkward. The better thing to do is vision.
To winning it all.
Because that's really all you can do. The enemy team knows that you're together. So it's best to just see where you can place wards without actually getting spotted out, and that's exactly what they do.
On one side, you have a team that thinks to themselves, we worked so hard and we came up short.
And control your own jungle area because it helps you control the mid lane tower as well. So he's trying to find any of those observer wards before he actually drops his own ops.
Yeah, and it's actually FY that's in this top lane. So PSG.LGD should evacuate. OG's going to look for this fight because they know that this line can't come. And at best, it's a 4-on-5. That's why Ana's looking for it.
Why they've been able to push? I think they sent the Lion back. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think they were actually trying to avoid the 5-on-5. And you saw for a second they were there as 4, and they're like, wait, the wrong hero is not here.
Yeah.
Anytime FY shows in a lane like that, OG's going to smoke up and take a fight. Anytime maybe shows in a lane like that, OG will smoke up and take a fight.
Yeah, because the disables are so effective against the OG heroes, right? Faces void. You've got this Pango who can't really swashbuckle forward, has to just rely on Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a mistake by FY, showing in that top lane. As soon as you showed in that top lane, it makes it really hard for the rest of PSG.LGD to be down in that bottom area.
Now, Blitz, a lot of people are going to say, well, what do you mean mistake? Because nothing bad happened. We actually didn't lose any heroes as a result. Why was that bad for PSG.LGD?
Because I think they wanted to take that fight. I think they want to be in that bottom area and continue to protect their ward. If you notice, as a result of that, they instantly lost this ward down here at bottom. Being able to protect that ward and take a fight around that, because they placed 2 sentries too, you know that OG, they don't have any vision in that camp. Like, you'll win the vision advantage in that fight alone.
Yeah.
And being able to fight with vision is so important for your cores.
And now they're really fractured, right? As they retreated back, they naturally, like, some of them
this is what
their triangle, and this is what OG's trying to take advantage of. They know, okay, they retreated. Highly unlikely they all 5-man back to the same side.
It's a little bit awkward for them because now whenever you have to back out like that, like you said, I really like that point, it leaves an opening. Actually, somebody is going to go in a different direction.
You have to be crazy disciplined as a team to, like, 5-man back in that situation. Like, sure, if you're hitting high ground, everyone knows, back together, nobody TP away foolishly, don't let them get an opening. But, like, in that situation, right, going from jungle to jungle, naturally people want to farm.
Yeah, if you notice, the Ember Spirit is really close to a Sacred Relic.
Yeah.
And his Radiance. You have Ame that just finished up his Aghanim Scepter. Like, these guys want items. It's human nature. You're really close to something, like, just a little bit more.
Yep. And he will get that Aghanim Scepter because of the way he's split up, but we'll see whether or not he gets caught.
Yeah, that's the scariest part about OG is they sort of ignore that in a way. They're like, screw human nature. Yeah, because you have this Nature's Prophet that's almost close to an AC. Toxin almost has his Aghanim Scepter, like, and they're just like, whatever, just take the fight.
Yeah.
The numbers advantage is really close to a Sacred Relic.
They could have just, you know, like, okay, like, we've taken over our jungle, let's keep farming and such, but instead, OG is the kind of team that just says, hey, they've screwed up, let's take advantage of that.
Aghanim Scepter, like, these guys want
items.
Enjoying TI? Oh, I love this series.
God, so good, right?
If you can tell, like, I did my homework.
Yes.
I watched the VODs.
Yep.
Oh, because I wanted to know, like, what makes these teams tick.
Yeah.
Why is OG as good as they are? Because I feel like LGD, human nature. What they're doing is, like, they're playing into it a little bit. Like, just like, okay, OG is the same squad. That's no criticism of them. It's actually impressive, like, how well they've done.
Yeah. Off
of, like, this one principle of Dota. And it's like, you know, invade the jungle, secure the safe lanes out, push them out, force people to play at your tempo. And PSG.LGD is thinking, what are the counters to that? We don't want to play the same game. We don't want to get into these, like, 70-minute slugfest. Because I feel like OG, that's what they like. They like to clinch you, go to the body repeatedly. And PSG.LGD, conversely, they're like, what's the counter to that then? How do we deal with that? We pick up these early BKBs. We have a hero that can deal with the split push. Make it so that we can punish them in the 5-on-5 fights.
Since we are going to be here for just a bit longer,
ignore that in a way.
I want to tell you guys some about the atmosphere of this stadium. There's basically, there's 2 different big seating areas. One at the bottom, one at the top. And you have this just packed all the way to the tip of the top of the stadium.
Yeah, it's actually wild how many OG fans came out.
Yeah, we had a decent number of fans right behind me. Yeah. But other than that...
No, there's everywhere. There's about half the crowd, I'd say.
Half the crowd are cheering for OG?
Yeah.
They're just not near the mics. They're just not near the crowd mics.
They're a little bit further.
Yeah.
The numbers advantage. They got some upper seats. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, all the LGD fans are all at the bottom, and that's everything you hear. No,
they could have just, you know, like, okay,
again,
like,
it was
taken over our jungle. Let's
almost deathly quiet when OG came out. No booing or anything, but you know, and I think the crowd is smart in that way. They want OG to know, like, hey, we supported you up until now, but in this series, we're definitely back. Hey, LGD.
Yeah.
Everyone's holding their LGD is invincible flags. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some brackets and see how OG and LGD managed to make it this far. It was crazy how many of the same teams were showing up in that upper bracket again, right?
Join TI? It feels like deja vu. Last time, of course, EG, they went a little further, but things happen.
True, true. They got their rematch against OG in the upper bracket semifinals.
If you can tell,
just like last year.
I did my homework.
Yes.
That was a real heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Although this time around, they kind of got crushed.
The LGD versus VG game, I'm a little bit sad that one went 2-0 just because, you know, hearing them talk about playing against each other and what that was like. I mean, they said that LGD actually, you know, was like, they really respect each other, right? Like VG Gaming, they're a young squad, so they look up to everybody who's on the side of LGD, and now they're gonna have to ride all their hopes.
What they're doing is like they're playing into it. They're like, okay, OG is the same. Dreams to go to the finals. That's against LGD, and then LGD wins.
And then crown LGD. Very cute. And LGD, I'm sure, is feeling a lot of that pressure.
No criticism of them. It's actually impressive, like how well they've done.
Yeah.
Off of like this one principle of Dota, and it's
a Fade who said like 22 years old or something. He's like, I've been a fan of
it's like, you know, invade the jungle, secure the safe lanes out, push them out, force people to play.
I think that's something about Dota in
your tempo. Right? And PSG.LGD is thinking, what are the counters to that?
One at the bottom. He's just all the way. Between Furion plus a Boots, a Travel, Tops, and Zeus, we're closing in on some very key items. Lane. Look like they want to make a off the stadium.
Yeah, it's actually wild how many OG fans came out.
Working super fast, so BKB had it about 23 minutes.
Match that tempo.
Yeah, we had a decent number of fans right
that 1v1 and gave away 1,000 gold set was just a little bit shy of the BKB, but this time he's got it.
It probably tips you off to the fact that you're the
Other than that,
here in the game. No, there's everywhere. There's about half the crowd, I'd say.
You don't really know that information until perhaps a bit too late. Batting roots on the ground. PSG.LGD scrambling to grab everything. Half the crowd is cheering for OG.
Yeah.
They're just not near the maybe in his positioning, so he does pick up the Aghanim mics.
Yeah.
They're just not near the crowd mics.
They're a little bit further.
Yeah. Even though he was about 3/4 full. Just gonna top things off.
They got some upper seats. Don't worry, guys.
yeah. Unfortunately, all the LGD fans are all at the bottom.
Percolate.
Why though? That's everything you do. No, once you put it into your bottle, it's based off again. It was.
I know, but it's cool.
It's cool.
It's like you've got a gold explosion.
Guys, I don't have buyback. Someone use your bottle bounty room.
As soon as he hits like
almost deathly quiet
gold, he's gonna pop it.
Okay. No booing or anything, but it's gonna be, you know, and I think the crowd is.
All right, they're gonna go for. I'd like to see him running back TP. Help his team.
Yeah, smart in that way. They want OG to know, like,
hey, we supported you up
right now.
Yeah. As letting anybody else do this job, no. It's purely for him.
Until now, but in this series,
we're
definitely back in
stick around, let him get his radiance.
Anna's kind of sticking around, right? He may try and go for the Chronosphere on to Ame. Yeah, everyone's holding their LGD's invincible flags. Take a look at some of the brackets. see how OG and LGD managed to make it this far. It was crazy
It's from when we go for these split pushes that you need to be afraid. And
how many of the same teams were showing up.
It probably, no, they definitely get that kill.
Yeah. And he was stuck in a situation where he was already TPing basically
In that
the
upper
same
bracket,
time
right?
So he was like, I shouldn't
It
really
feels like
cancel
deja
this.
vu.
And replays
Last time, of
it.
course,
That was such a sick trap. By getting punished for that now, losing the bottom tier 2 tower, you can easy pressure.
They went a
And
little
this is
bit
the worst
further,
thing
but
as a nature
things
problem,
happen.
once you lose your tier 2 towers,
Yeah.
the potential for trading racks is always available.
True,
to
true.
them. And
They
because
got
you
their
have
rematch
this
against OG
Ember
in
Spirit,
the
it's even harder to just go for a 1-for-1 max trade.
Right.
So if PSG,
Upper bracket.
LGD feel stronger, they'll just go for it.
Semifinals.
And they should be
Just
picking
like
up
last
the pace
year.
right about now, right? They just got their Radiance. They know there's no Chrono.
Yeah, you go for it right now.
There's no better time to go for it. And that's why they're just trying to,
That was a real heartbreaker.
at all, but they're just trying to push Chalice back, make him so he's low enough he doesn't feel
Although this time around, they kind of got crushed.
The LGD versus DG game, I'm a little bit sad that one went 2-0 just because
he's obviously fine. We will hold on to his BK charge as well. PSG.LGD, they're going to be spotted. Thunder God's Wrath, just as we were talking about.
you know, hearing them
The
talk
mid-lane
about
push,
playing against each
pushing
other
Chalice
and what
back,
that was
pushing
like. I mean, they said that LGD actually,
They read exactly what PSG.LGD is, but LGD is still going to go for
you know,
this
was
challenge.
like-
Wrap around with
they really respect each other, right? Like,
catching no tail, rolls up his out of Derek's already. He's going to hit M5 as well. And Thunder God's Wrath decided they're going to be able to bring down one support at least. Chalice
DG Gaming Theory,
letting
a young
off
squad,
position here, but
so they look up to everybody on the side of LG, and now they're going to have to ride all their hopes for a China TI.
Wasn't it Fade that I was like, I'd love for my dreams to go to the finals against LGD, and then LGD wins.
Big crown LGD. Very cute. LGD, I'm sure, is feeling a lot of that pressure.
And that was the buyback from Jarex.
There's a lot of little
Fantastic
stuff in
fight
that
from
interview.
PSG,
I think it was
LGD.
also Fade who
That
said
all comes down to X Nova's positioning. They all winged on him while they were killing the port, the line of OG. And once you get on top of the Zeus, this fight goes completely over.
I've been a fan of that one.
14 to 16, 29 minutes in.
And I think that's something
PSG
about
for the first time in
Dota
about 15 minutes
in
had the net worth lead, no matter how small it is. They do have the lead, they do have the experience.
right, is that there is just a bigger legacy.
The Chronosphere being used in that last fight as well, that's going to give PSG.LGD a lot of confidence to keep this going.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh, dating back to the
Ravage,
Dota
though,
one.
in 70 seconds.
And they should feel really
Now
strong
that
right
DDC,
now.
as you know,
It's so hard for OG to take a fight. Like I said, straight up 5-on-5s, OG will lose.
Well, my
Even with
personal
Chronos,
favorite player in the world.
OG
Now that
hit a
DDC's
two-man
out,
Chrono
I think I
on the
might.
both cores, and it doesn't matter.
So X-Nova, there's a lot of ways that Oracle's trying to solve the problem,
Switch
which is
sides
you've got
to
a
the
Chrono.
Chalice.
Everyone's going to try and chase you
I think
down.
that might be.
And a lot of
that
them
might
go for Glimmer
be
Caves,
your
Blink
new
Dagger,
favorite.
maybe an Ether Lens to help cast range. But here, because of the global presence of Furion plus
Yeah, it might be
Zeus,
that or.
we've got X-Nova trying
Might
to
be that or
rush
like
in
Seb.
Aeon Disc.
Yeah.
Seb was a
It's really
talent.
smart
Then he
decision.
Dude,
drove his way
that was
back.
the crazy
so that
part.
If you do get Chrono to one of your 2 cores, you'll never be focused.
Yeah.
It just wastes more and more time from Ana.
Worked ESL 1
And I think
Frankfurt
for PSG,
with
LGD,
Zeb.
the longer
Dude,
the
he
fight
told me,
goes, because
we
he
watched him win a TI, and now we're watching him win an upper bracket
Deadass,
finals.
he looked me in.
You're going to be stronger, which is wild to think about, considering Zeus is one of the best.
In the eye.
That is
Yeah.
And he
the
said,
only
I'm
thing
gonna
that really
make it
could
as a
stop
pro
that
again.
longer
And I
team
straight
fight.
up,
It would
I
favor
laughed
of
at
you
LGD
laughed at
to
him?
not be Thompson, and that's why they've been trying to focus him down so much.
Straight up was like, good luck, dude. I was like, I'll see you next TI. You know, I was like, and then
doesn't care. In fact, he almost has an Aghanim Scepter already.
He needs to outplay them right now, Thompson.
Yeah.
Get the blink
what a fool
dagger,
he made me. And I'm so happy for him. Could have happened to a better guy.
Yeah,
figure out
absolutely.
team fights to be able to get in and out.
It's going to be so hard to get.
I mean, it was always a pleasure to be able to work with Seb, just, you know, a very happy guy
in particular. I think Gunnar is well agreed with
And
this.
I think it's-
the Aghanims is a bit of a trap, but in this game, right, it is meant for it. Trying to get on top of Zeus is like
also
amazing.
really inspiring. I think it was inspiring
Every
to
single
a
fight
lot
that
of
Aghanims
people.
Yeah, Cinderen's back there like writing as many notes as he can about what happened.
Level 25.
Yeah, I think that was also another part of it, which Ame is closing in on 25.
Work to get your 25.
It's like, what did he do at these events?
How did he get the motivation? Well, Cinder got got so many damage items as well. Hasn't opted for anything that's going to proc off a sleight of fish just yet. But
I would have really liked.
first thing, you have to become a coach.
Yes,
that was the first step, right? It's just coming back and being a coach. Now, yeah. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't go for the Maelstrom as well, considering how...
We're going to get back into the game.
Back into it. OG versus LGD, game 1. We are 24 minutes in. OG
Radiant are scanning.
have a 1,000 net worth lead. They have a global combo.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Between Furion plus a Boots, a Travel, Tops, and Zeus, we're closing in on some very key items.
Bottom lane. They look like they want to make it.
Dire's bottom tower.
Beating out Zeb though with his early BKB. Again, he got the Orchid super fast, so BKB had it about 23 minutes.
Match that tempo.
Last time he Ame challenged him in that 1v1 and he gave away 1,000 gold. Zeb was just a little bit shy. BKB, but this time he's got it.
It probably tips you off to the fact that you're the highest net worth here in the game. When you see that 1,000.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you don't really know that information.
With the man-to-man, Anna just cleaned him up so quick.
Go Roche, go Roche.
Go Roche.
Still, perhaps he's finishing late. Batting roots on the ground. PSG.
You at least have an opportunity to, if he did have buyback.
LGD scrambling, grab everything on the bottom lane. OG did not get the chance to be able to punish.
They didn't go for a smoke, but it's the same idea. Get a core pick off on a Roshan. You have to use this Aegis.
Maybe in his positioning, so he does pick up the Aggro Scepter. Is he just and even Spear couldn't bot back. You got to get out of this pit. Or does he actually think they can win a 5? Popping the shrine, even though he was about 3/4 full. Just going to top things off.
Top lane, they're going to just walk back into the Roshan pit.
Yeah.
They know this isn't a real fight. This is sort of just...
Get some fresh fuel for the fight.
I love when people hold on to battle.
Right with the push on the top lane, getting tier 3, the tier 1 at bottom. Actually does fall, chalice.
This, by the way. Let it percolate. There's about still 25 seconds. No, Seb is now here with his AC.
Alright, if OG was going to commit, they have to do it now.
Why though? It doesn't do anything. Once you put it in...
Yeah, that was so smart of Chalice.
Chalice just walks in. He knows there's no chrono. He can't die.
To your bottle. It's based off the time you picked it up.
I know, but it's cool.
It's cool.
It's like you've got a gold explosion.
Guys, I don't... Yeah. And hey, if that play happens again, then next thing you know... Have buyback! Someone use your bottle bounty rune!
PSG.LGD, they said, you didn't want to fight us? 4 versus 5? Well, guess what? Now the Ember Spirit's alive.
As soon as he hits like 1,200 gold, he's gonna pop it.
Okay.
It's gonna be PSG.LGD because they've got this. I think they feel a little bit too confident.
That surprise, haha.
All right, they're gonna go for. I'd like to see him Remnant back TP, help his team. For the angle right now, he sees 2 cores for the time being, but both teams just playing around this area, both loath to just give it up.
Roshan is getting so low.
Deal with that top lane push. It's just a big push.
This is your job right now as Hame. Letting anybody else do this.
That's going to start with FY. Now the Orchid onto the Tidehunter, prevent any sort of ravage. As the OG.
Job, no. Purely for him. Stay down. Making his way up. Down here is 4 on the side of PSG.LGD. Stick around, let him get his radiance.
Use that mobility to their advantage. You see Seth pushing in bottom. Hey, this is an opportunity for him.
Anna's kind of sticking around, right? He may try and go for the Chronosphere onto Ame.
With no boots of travel, Ame has a tough time being able to deal with this. He's going to run to bottom lane, but...
Yeah, they're going to TP in with the Nature Fountain.
He goes straight up the Chronosphere. The TP coming in for the Fury.
Seb likely to take this tower.
Got just outside of me. Doom he wants to win, but the BKB activated. He jumps away.
Finish off the Nimbus. That's another 100 gold.
Maybe he's committed for this.
This is why picked up the fast DK.
Sees the opportunity to be able to jump him back. Up to Anna. Maybe he's going to be able to get around. He haunts it down.
And sadly, Seb was just on the outside of
that is why
some auto attack.
It's not for the team.
Jared's getting a little stuck on the
fight. It's from when you go for these split pushes that you need to be afraid. And Seb, if he TPs on the other side, they probably, no, they definitely get that kill.
Yeah. And he was stuck. He's going to commit now with this landing on a 3. Can maybe finish
This situation where he was already TPing basically the same time the chronosphere was down, so he was like, I shouldn't really cancel this. And replaced it.
Oh, that was such a sick trap. By getting punished for that now, losing the bottom tier 2 tower.
his life has been forfeited here. He's going to be chased down by Ame. Austin BKB tries to go for the sprout TP away, and he's
You can put even pressure. And this is the worst thing as a Nature's Prophet would.
bail out Anna and still get out. But still, a big win for PSG.
You lose your tier 2 towers. The
to
potential
finish
for
first round
trading
just in
racks is
time.
always available.
I mean, the balls that may be there to say, I'm going to pop EKB and I'm finishing
Available
up this
to them.
Roshan.
And because you have
even
this
as Anna's buying back
Ember
and trying to
Spirit,
TP.
it's even harder to just go for a one. It was going to go okay for OG. After they went on Thompson and Thompson outplays them, you will for one rack straight. So if PSG.LGD feels stronger, they'll just go for it.
And they should be picking up the pace right about now, right? They just got their Radiance.
And
They,
then Anna was never able to get his Chronosphere off in that engagement. He just didn't really see a good opportunity. He wasn't able to keep up with the
no, there's no Chrono.
Yeah, you go for it right now.
There's no better time to go for it, and that's why they're
Chronosphere. He thinks about running in, but he knows that's a trap. FY.
trying to, they're not going for the kill at all, but they're just trying to push Chalice back, make him so he's low enough.
Faster. Time walks into the pit, gets off the Chronosphere.
Sadly, doesn't feel comfortable leading an engagement. They push out mid, which is going to make this smoke.
Their lineup works.
We have with the side device being finished up by Seth. Ame is already trying to address that with an Aeon disc of his own. So
They do
he's
have a
got
head snap on Seth. That's a big pickup for him.
so that Lions trying to go for that Aeon disc because the BKB may not be enough
Dyer's
anymore.
middle tower is under
He still needs to be able to address that push from OG, even if they have the team fight locked in, especially with the Aegis on maybe right now. They have to make sure they are not outmaneuvered by OG, because they've done that so many times in the past, and so many times at this international as well. Part of what their question, why it looks so good, right, is being able to, first of all, put the enemy in the wrong place, wrong part of the map, and then force that fight, a Shadow Blade. Or a Seth just to help him get that sight device off.
It's good damage too, and it helps him so that he can deal with these stragglers. He doesn't have to pop his BKB just to get kills. There is a gem pickup almost immediately by X-Nova. I think they're feeling the lack of wards right now. Like I think they've accepted that they're never going to get wards out very long, but they also have to take away OG's vision if they can. That's where OG's lineup is still pretty potent.
Dyer's middle
It's so
tower
hard against a
is
Furion,
under
right? Sometimes you just give the wards to the Furion, even if he's core, and he goes out, plants some Jerix, with his swashbuckle, allowing him to get to places that most supports can as well.
Yeah, we saw in the pre-game stats, by the way, both teams used to such aggression, but this time, and they played against each other so often that they've slowed down the pace. They know that all it really comes down to is the team fight.
Thunder God's Wrath going off, just making sure that LGD can't really challenge for this bounty room. And that'll allow OG to be able to get 3 out of the 4, even against an Aegis. It goes to show, like, PSG.LGD, they're still going to be a little bit timid about taking fights against OG, especially as Thunder going off, does manage to knock up X-Nova with that one. They finish off as well. 2 different kills like would be massive. They do have Ame coming in, but immediately the BKB from Seb, they know 2 pickoffs on the supports. As long as nobody dies here, they're going to do a long jump in from the Aghanim Scepter Spirit to be able to chase down No-Tail, but No-Tail managed to get off the stop onto Ame. Ame finished him off with a double damage, especially with Chalice and maybe joining him in the mid lane. So they will trade
Continues. Tops in that top lane. Seb towards bottom. If you can't fight him, send the game until you find opportunities where you can.
Especially with these level 25 talents coming in. Anna has his Chronosphere AoE. We've got
There's no BKB, but no vision either.
Yeah. Those effects, late game Shadow Blade. It's always tough for cores to carry vision.
Yeah, that's why Nature's Prop, it doesn't feel awful, even though you can't team fight too well. Sprout is going to get much better as the game goes on. Your Shadow Blade will get a lot better because core can't really carry around the gems or anything like that.
Yeah. Look at that though. The most Zeus's I see go for that 155 arc lightning damage. It's so much considering how often you spam it. Once it's CP is that's some Purge Bell taken between his legs right there. Just TP's in, instantly BKBs, finished off the tier 3. Now Shrines have been unlocked, and eventually he'll take it with the Treants.
Look at Maybe's build, by the way. He's decided to go for the Basher because he's so tired of this. He knows they need some way to punish that.
Mjolnir attack speed as well. He's just going to be focusing on all of the bottom lane. Various procs. He's going to be able to get the Aegis to pop here. It takes away the regen while Ame being gone as they do have the Chronosphere. Instep going to be able to get another damage. It just overwhelms Ame very quickly. He still, and I'm not sure if he ever will, be tanky enough to live through that Chronosphere unless he's got the Aeon Disc.
He didn't have a Remnant far back enough. I think he was relying on the speed to try to outplay. Got a little bit lazy there, and OG punishes their lineup. It's designed to constantly pressure the lanes, find openings like that.
Mjolnir, almost complete for Somnus. Got the 20 strength for the Pangolier. Now off of the buyback around Roshan, and LGD know about that.
Yeah, there's no one near him. And it just decided to step forward.
And now Seb's going to do everything he can to try and force the attention to the side lanes, rather than that mid lane where PSG.LGD is barreling down. But that's where Ame comes into play. He may not have the Aeon Disc, but he's going to play lucky. He does have the Jarek. He's going to rolling in with his Glimmer, taking the invis ball. Not really doing a whole lot, especially since they have the push down. He's about to fall down. No damage being dealt, and Somnus can now turn all of his attention into the tier 3. 80 seconds left for Anna's revival here.
Says to his team,
and it was indeed his bad. That one little mistake from him being just trying to drop the little to stop him dead. No-Tail's now 15 seconds, but the throne being just poked away by Somnus. He's doing so much damage.
take a break. They looked like a completely different team, but they had nothing to prove. They just took it slowly, one game at a time. Then at the end of the season, they showed what they're made of.
Yeah, and it probably helps, right? Because who'd they go through? They had PyCat as well as IALTW, right? And like just having another teammate, you learn more about probably the other four just as much, right? Like if you're not leaning back on Anna, like you have someone else, you're learning like, oh, do we need to start carrying games? But you get Anna back and you're like, nope, he's back, we're good.
Must become stronger. It's the only way to carry
like,
without Anna.
Where is he?
Yeah, come back.
And you know, we keep talking about everybody's road throughout the year. I mean, look at both of these teams. Neither of them had the best possible start that they could have to the year.
They had bad years, straight up.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's really one of those things that it's so strange to really dive into it because it just does seem to defy logic in such a big way that teams can come out and have rough years and they come to TI and they really just look like the best.
That translates through all levels of competition, right? All sorts of sports or esports. It doesn't matter because a lot of them are all going to say the same thing. All that matters is that one big trophy at the end, right?
And I would say every player, like, were you there? I mean, when you went to TI, like, is that how you felt? Like, this is it. Who cares what else happened?
Exactly. That's the mentality that you need to have. Like, you're not thinking, oh, we beat those guys 7 times before we met throughout the season. It doesn't matter at that point. You just want to win this game one at a time.
To really unpack that, though, do you think that it's a different skill set and a different mentality to be a dominant team throughout the year and to be a dominant team, a TI winning team?
I mean, you look at VP multiple years. I hate to just call them out, but I mean, this is probably one of the most dominant, seasoned teams we've ever seen in every single TI. Just didn't feel very good for them.
And they ultimately, they end up getting pulled apart like soft bread. That's not going to be the case, though, for these two teams coming out right now. We got OG, we got the stacks of papers already securely in the booth, and we have the team that has the crowd behind them and a game in their back pocket in LGD, looking to close this series out nice and early and get that first spot into the grand final. They could rest easy tonight, know that they are showing up to play for that biggest game that you can have in Dota. And now as everybody does start to take the booths, I want to one more time really start to think about how much this game can change compared to what we saw in that first game.
I mean, this game is definitely everything, right? You do not want to go down the lower bracket if you're OG. I mean, you can be like, oh, lower bracket, who cares, whatever, like your Team Liquid or something like that. No. You want to go right to that grand final. You want to watch the rest of the games today, chill back, get some dinner, and start prepping for that grand final.
I have to disagree a little bit here.
You want the lower bracket?
No, I don't want them to be in the lower bracket, don't get me wrong. But if you look at their faces when they're entering the arena, they're smiling, they're having good fun, having good time with the teammates. I don't think this loss really affects them.
Well, and that's something we've talked about with OG, right? I think that you can have both, though. I think that they're a team that doesn't necessarily get inside of their head, but I think in the same breath, what Trent says, I mean, you're going to pull out all the stops in this game, right? I don't think that you can disrespect the idea of dropping down to that lower bracket right now. It's just too volatile of a situation to be in.
Yeah, it was. And I think that Pango pick kind of threw me off because it hasn't really been doing that well. And they picked it third, I believe. And it was very odd because it messed up a little bit of the lanes because you have a dominant laner, right, in the Nature's Prophet. And all of a sudden you got this Pango. And he actually didn't have a game. He had no game.
Sometimes that's also like you need that dominant laner to give you this position 4 here that doesn't work that well on the lane stage. But if there's anyone who knows support Pango well, it's China and it's LGD. I mean, this is something that they ran quite a bit.
It's really hard to bounce back with the Pango, who had the 0 CS at 5-6 minute mark. He was 0-0 actually.
Because right, Nature's Prophet wants to go out, go ganking, and that's when you think your 4 is finally going to get some farm, but he just never did. So I definitely think we'll see more aggressive lanes for sure from OG. Like they want to be in your face. They want to be the ones taking the smoke ganks to you, not like reactively playing.
Okay, so if we do see those more aggressive lanes, how will LGD be forced to respond to cost?
LGD is a team that played their own style. I don't think they counterpick that much. They're mostly focused on what they want to do. So they're just going to get the strong lanes once again. And I mean, we've seen the comebacks from the laning stage. Even if you lose one of the lanes, it doesn't matter that much. It's more about these Roche team fights where you're going to use a lot of buybacks to try to get the first Roche, then try to snowball, build more advantage from there, and try to end the game with the second Roshis and Aegis.
Yeah, I think a hero like Tide, right? It's good in lane, and it has one of the best ultimates in the game.
Yep.
Like you might see them thinking about taking that out.
I think it's one of Chalice's best heroes over the past 4 months. Maybe we'll see something like that Beastmaster again or something, but I mean, to me, last game, your boy Lacoste, Ame, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on him, I felt like, right? Because he's been given this Feast or Famine style hero on the Ember Spirit, and that guy is the biggest playmaker and also the biggest, you know, not so great playmaker.
He didn't do any Ame stuff besides the good Ame
He did the
stuff.
good Ame, right? Dr. Jekyll, you know?
Good Ame stuff. Now, we're talking about Ame. We're putting him under the microscope a little bit. I want to actually take it a step back. Lacoste, if you were going to look at one head-to-head matchup, one position matchup in this game, when you're watching, who would you pick? What position would you pick?
I think I always pick position 4 because that's the role I like the most, and I think you can easily win the game from position 4. I think Jerax needs a bit more playmaking hero that can rotate, and Jerax is the guy that breaks most of the smokes in-game.
All right, well, speaking of in-game, we're about to hop into it right now. We have all of our players in the booth. Let's see who's going to be able to take it. Is it going to be a quick 2-0? Are we going to go the distance and make it all the way to a Game 3?
PSG.LGD versus OG. Game 2.
Game 1 was looking okay for OG before it slipped away at the end a bit there, gentlemen. Do you feel like they need to make some adjustments with the picks, the bans?
I think the picks were fine. It was just that like slight late game, like very odd decision making. So
okay,
I think also the Ember kind of letting it through against the heroes like the Zeus, Pango, the Void. These like heroes that Root's really good against, Flame Guard's good against. I think it was a little questionable.
Yeah, I mean, two teams you expect to stick to their guns regardless of outcomes of an individual game, and very much likely what we're going to see going into game number 2, as some switch-ups will maybe have to happen, because often what's going to happen is a change-up in who has first pick, for example, and some of those bans can be mixed around because of that.
Yeah, so LGD is going to, I think, stick probably to the first phase. Their bans, their idea about the picks, what they wanted to pick there. But since OG is now going to kind of respond to them, right, they're going to maybe pick Jerax a more playmaking hero instead of this Pango that's a little more greedy as a 4. I think the LGD second phase is going to be maybe a little more different, maybe a little more reactive to OG, and both teams are going to slightly change up their draft to kind of counter each other.
So I think right now, first pick has a huge advantage because of all these like imba heroes right now. Enchantress, Io, ET, Tiny, but LGD doesn't play Io, so they gotta get rid of it, even if they're first pick. And I'm surprised about the Enchantress because LGD plays a really good Enchantress.
Okay. So Chen, that's No-Tail, one of his, classic supports. It's kind of been banned out, I think, a lot against OG.
Yeah, it really has been.
But they banned the Enchantress and the Wisp. There's like all these other more priority bans, so these like tier 1.5 bans that you're still really scared of are kind of slipped through in this series.
Yeah, and I think so you're saying, Feb, you find it interesting they ban the Enchantress themselves when they have first pick?
Yeah, because it's the hero of the tournament, I think. You first pick it no matter what. LGD plays amazing on it. OG plays it too, but they don't first pick it. So I was thinking like LGD might let it through.
OG, I know OG picks it first because they play it on No-Tail. They're one of the few teams that do a 5 Enchantress. And I think they probably value the Shadow Demon higher than the Enchantress in their draft.
So they're planning on picking the Shadow Demon and don't want to give away the Enchantress.
So
instead, OG get Chen. Tiny, you're just talking about the Chen. Tiny we've seen explode over the last day or 2.
We might see a Void ban coming out in this phase to try to stop this like Tiny Void from coming out in the mid game. But this Tiny hero I think is getting slightly more understood, whereas teams, are kind of like actually thinking this guy's going to deal, 10,000 physical damage in 5 seconds on a 12-second cooldown. We have to think about it.
Yeah.
So the panel briefly touched on how they want to see some Jerax on roaming support, such as Earthspirit and Tuskar, and I think we're going to see that, especially with the Chen pickup. And the LGD support right now, we only see one, but it's really weak against roam. So.
Yeah, the Chen allowing you to use that recall essentially to bring in your 4th position Jerax for those ganks.
Yeah, probably Earthspirit or Tuskar, working with that mid Tiny or whatever Thompson is on, because Thompson is usually on a very aggressive hero that can use that roaming support, that +1.
The Shadow Demon's already fairly good against both of the heroes of OG, I think. At least the Tiny, especially. And the Sand King, I think, it used to be a lot more stable in the past. Teams would pick this like off-lane Sand King. It almost always was exclusively off-lane, but he just kind of goes in his lane. He's gonna get what he needs. He's gonna get this blink, and he's gonna be your blink initiator, right? So now, off the bat, LGD has this blink initiation team fight started.
He's an annoying hero to gank too, because he can be pretty elusive with that Sandstorm Pyro Strike. So if OG are trying to go for this roaming support with Chen, Sand King can make their life a little bit difficult.
Yeah, they also banned the Spectre. They don't want OG to have this like super late game, I think. They're still scared of the way that OG plays around their late game, especially with like this Chen heal and the Tiny late game.
Maybe they're just still traumatized from last TI as well.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Forget whether Spectre's a good hero now. It's like, are we still a TI8, guys? Ban the Spectre.
Ban the Lifestealer. That's one of the commoner carries of the patch, I think. It's like the Gyros, the Lifestealers, these type of like, you can either really hard farm, like on the Wraith King Lifestealer, right? That's what we saw Infamous do. They would always go some heavy farmer and farm with it. And there's also the like quicker heroes, right? Like this Gyrocopter. The Lifestealer is really good against both of the heroes of OG. You can infest a Chen creep, once you're level 6, instantly kill it. And you also have Feast versus Tiny.
Yeah, I think what OG is trying to do in the second ban phase is try to protect the Tiny, so there's an option of putting him mid. Might see like a OD ban or Ember ban. So they ban Void.
Yeah, Faceless Void does get banned.
I think like Void Tiny is that new wombo combo. Like Phoenix Void, it's a thing in the past. Now it's Tiny Void.
What are the carries that stand out with so many of them now being, well, 3 of them being banned out in this second stage? Where do both the two teams look for that role?
There's still a Gyrocopter for both teams, I think. Probably, I'd maybe lean more towards LGD picking it right now than OG. But a lot of the carries are kind of questionable, I think. Like, you can't pick the PL right now.
Yeah.
The Jug, I think, is weak for both teams. It doesn't do enough damage versus Chen, and then the Purge is really good to kind of kite the Jug and walk away. So the carry pool, I think, is going to be the hardest for both teams to pick.
I think on OG side, AM and Slark is an option too. I haven't seen much Ana AM, but AM is pretty good here.
His Slark is very good, so we could see some Slark kind of playing fast with the Diffusal, going his more standard build.
Yeah, I think he wants to play some like ninja heroes, assassin type heroes.
Well, they banned AA, so is it just going to be an Alchemist game?
Could be.
What that kind of says to me, at least.
Oh yeah, Alchemist is still open. I can't believe it.
Yeah, we've been talking so much about it. You just expect it to either be picked or banned in the first stage, and OG get it in the second stage now.
Now, OG only picked it once in the group stage, and LGD I think is a team that's comfortable playing against the Alchemist. So like it's gonna be pretty cool to see how they counter it, especially like it being like the third hero pick.
I think their idea with this is they're going to kind of move the Shadow Demon to a 4. And this Jakiro is going to be a 5. And the Jakiro and the Shadow Demon have really good lane push in the early game, especially the Jakiro. So the Jakiro is going to try to rotate to this Alchemist's lane, whether he's in the safe lane or the mid lane, and force that lane in. And then the Shadow Demon is now going to be free to walk into the jungle and contest the Alchemist stacks. So I think they're going to try to play fast, try to control OG's jungle. But on the other side, OG's going to have this Chen. He's going to have creeps. There's going to be this early game Tiny if he's a 4. They're going to kind of defend him. So I think there's going to be a lot of these early game brawls on OG's side of the map. I think they're probably going to pick their off-laner here. I think, unless they decide to put the Tiny on 3, but I don't think I've seen a sub-Tiny this tournament. So they might try to pick him. I think his Fury was good last game. He owned the lane. He had a 14-minute orchid or something. He was top of the net worth for almost the whole game, I think. So that might be one of their choices.
Darkseer. Okay. Haven't seen much of Darkseer, but OG gonna pull it out.
It matches up well with both of their current cores, the Tiny and the Alchemist. If they're both cores, work really well with Surge and Iron Shell. They both want to go in, commit on heroes, especially the Tiny. When you're Iron Shelled and you're surged in, you can just combo heroes, stay on them, you keep hitting them. They take so much damage. It also does open up more picks. It opens up this Ember Spirit that they can put on Thompson or Ana on last pick, so I think we might see LGD kind of ban that out in the next phase, or take it if they're scared of it. It is a little scary playing Darkseer versus Shadow Demon though, because you're going to get purged. You're not going to be able to Ion Shell. You're not going to be able to Surge.
I can see, oh, they pick Sven.
Is this the kind of carry just to match the Alchemist's farm, or?
Sven's one of the better carries against Archemist. They can just like burst him down, even though the Archemist is very tanky.
Alchemist doesn't have armor for the early game. That's why a lot of the Alcs who are going more this right-click build will go Radiance. If they need a BKB, they'll go BKB, then they'll go AC. And if they don't need a BKB, they'll go Radiance AC. And it's because that hero has like 6 armor at level 15.
He demolishes Chen creeps too. There's a lot of like, when he stands in the front, OG's heroes, they're not going to want to go on the Sven. They want to go on the back lines, the SD Jack hero. So Sven's a very good hero to frontline, and it feels very reliable when a core is able to frontline like that.
It's also good against the Darkseer. You can push the lane back into the Darkseer and kind of counter his Ion Shell in the lane. Usually against Sven or against Darkseer, the carries are going to have this lane pushing into them. They're going to take damage into the tower. You know, they're going to be feel a little pressure under it, but with a Sven versus a Darkseer, you have cleave to kill the creeps quickly.
PSG.LGD looking for a last pick for their mid lane. Won't be seeing any kind of a Kunkka, as that's the last ban for OG.
It's a comfort hero for maybe, I think. It tanks them up. It stops this like initiation from OG, this tiny burst, this wall. They can kind of stop it with the boat. Also, he can't go Vessel on Kunkka. There's some of these Kunkkas that'll go this quick Vessel. They'll kind of rotate around, kill this Alchemist. You have the ability, if the Alch is mid, to just shove in the lane with Tidebringer and kind of run into his jungle and push it fast. I think we're going to see an Ember here, so that OG can't pick it.
It is PSG.LGD with first pick coming out of this stage, and it's going to be a Dragon Knight.
Oh, so they did this thing, I think yesterday or like 2 days ago, where they did DK Spectre. So the idea is like those 2 tanky front lines, OG has to choose basically which one to kill. And the other one, it just inputs a lot of damage.
Heroes that Alchemist can definitely not burst down all that quickly, even with this new physical damage build we see coming out often.
He takes towers very fast too, and OG Alchemist, if it's put mid, he's gonna go jungle. Tiny, once DK hits 6, he's gonna get chased out. So, the fast pace is the name of the game for LGD here.
And OG, last pick, a Spirit Breaker of all heroes, putting the Tiny into a core role.
The Spirit Breaker and Darkseer is a classic combo. You have Search Charge, you're going to go really fast. This early game is going to be really quick from OG besides the Alchemist.
They can control Sven very well too, the Spirit Breaker.
Charge through BKB, ult through BKB. You have a lot of these BKB piercing stuns and bashes.
The question is it enough to hold LGD's aggression in the early game? Because I think they have really good tower push with Jakiro and Dragon Knight.
Well, we're going to find out some of those answers in-game, but before we do, we're going to hear from Soksha with Casey on stage.
All right, Sox, tell me about this draft. You had a rough start to the series, and LGD still banning some of your favorite heroes.
Yes. I mean, first series, we got what we wanted. We knew where they were picking, and I think we should have won this game. We have some technical issues as well. It didn't help, but we have to deal with it. For this draft, I think we are really confident again. We knew what they were doing. Now it's all about playing better than them.
Lots of respect between these two teams. You have quite the storied TI history together.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's always a pleasure to play LGD on this stage, you know, especially in winner bracket final. So yeah, let's do it.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, back to you guys.
All right, game 2 time. As we heard from Soksha, we know what they're going to be doing. Now it's just having to play better. As you see, we do have some OG fans in the building, even if everything you're going to be hearing for most of the game is going to be LGD fans. And we certainly heard them even at the end of that game 1. This time we did hear some boos.
It's looking spicy.
Yeah, that was a moment.
They wanted OG to know we like LGD right now. We like the fact they're 1-up in this series. You're not going to get a repeat of last year. But we'll have to see. Do you agree with that? Are they going to be able to get a repeat of last year? I mean, we're looking at a Darkseer Spirit Breaker duo for them.
I hate Darkseer, let me say. As a hero, it won yesterday, by the way. In the one game it played, it won. But I remember when we casted the NA quals, this hero, it's hard to enable. You have to farm a lot with it, and the level 1 has become so much weaker than it used to be. I don't know. It just doesn't feel very good. But obviously, you know, Liquid dominating with it.
Yeah.
You have to have a good laning start with this hero, though. I will say, if you can enable this hero in the lane, I think the game will end very quickly.
They made it look really good with the Ember Spear. Do you think that it is going to look just the same with heroes like Tiny, Spirit Breaker, and even this Alchemist? I mean, he does have more options when it comes to the Ion Shell, but are they going to be as effective as ever?
Not really. I will say, though, the one thing for OG is they have this death combo, which I thought was unbeatable. Chen Alk.
Yeah.
I thought that Chen Alk cannot lose a game at this TI. Every time I saw a team give up, it just ended.
Yeah. I think a lot of people had Chen as their most bans, right? Because that hero was being shown to be so dominant.
It's just silly.
Before TI.
The core concept of the hero now is to try to find as many of the magic resistance creeps as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that's what our creator intended. Ice Frog was like, "Is this really how you guys want to do this?" And they're like, "Yes, this is the best way to play it." And look at all the magic damage on the side of PSG.LGD.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
Sand King, Jakiro, Shadow Demon. Those three heroes lay out a lot of magic damage. So for PSG.LGD, their damage is going to have to come out from the Dragon Knight and their Sven. It's going to have to come out in heaps and loads because they just won't be able to line that magic.
Battery Rune fight is so important.
Right. They are going to be able to get Ame pushed back. They'll secure the bottom two, even as X-Nova tries to stack up some Shadow Poisons onto Jarex. Doesn't get the fourth stack, though. That's where the real money starts coming in, that fourth and fifth stack.
Does do decent damage. I will say about Darkseer, his overall weakness comes from the fact that he doesn't pressure the safe laner anymore. Like, Ame should just free farm. Like, every safe laner says, when I see Darkseer on the other side, that's free farm.
Yeah. You're going to get almost all the last hits because the animation, the attack animation of a Darkseer is pretty bad. You should be able to get a lot of denies because Ion Shell, especially level 1, is pretty easy to read. And we'll see how OG is going to find a way to be able to break that opportunity for Ame. And their idea is with the Spirit Break, he's going to be pulling around. We're going to see No-Tail here. Maybe Die here as Challenge just keeps on staying on top of him with the Caustic Finale.
He did not expect this level 1 Caustic.
Laying out some taunts, but the dual breath is going to slow him down, and he's going to die underneath the tower.
First kill of the game goes to PSG.LGD.
But at least it's not that first blood. We are going to need charge in from Jarex. He's collected a nice big wave. Now Seb's going to try and pop it. That's why Ame and X-Nova, they're going to try and chase him away from this wave. Maybe even kill him here as Zapwi's going to show up. And sure enough, you can stack the waves all you want, but they're not going to let them Ion Shell clear.
This is what you want to do against the Darkseer, is tri-lane. Push him out so that he can't just skip the creep wave, make it really hard for him to push the lane into you and then pull the side wave.
Cute little play by Thompson. He actually tossed Somnus away from the creeps so he could get a deny in. Little stuff like that is what makes these two mid laners so unique. Maybe he's been one of the most dominant ones of the last few years for China, while Thompson, the newcomer to the scene, managing to win his very first TI. Some of his rather unique play bottom lane. Seb, this Ion Shell will start getting some of this CS, but you can see Ame has already racked up 6 denies.
Yeah, Seb right now only has 5 last hits. It feels like he's gotten a lot because he's been on the creep wave for so long, but it's really when you hit level 3 and you get that level 2 Ion Shell that this hero starts to come back online. How do you feel about Darkseer as an off-lane player? It's not a hero that you've been playing for a while, right?
Well, for me, it's like I just look at Sand King, and I feel like in a lot of ways, Sand King's the same hero, just a little bit better. You know, in the fact that you have the same concepts with Sandstorm, of just kind of sitting in the lane. But it's a lot harder to stay out of Sandstorm than it is to be able to work around level 1 Ion Shell, especially.
And that's why they're going to try lane against Seb, make it hard for him to get farm and space. We talked about how if this Darkseer doesn't have a good lane, this might just be a short one for OG.
Yeah, and how do you push back Chalice? You have to just drop so many sentries while simultaneously he can fight you underneath the Sand King as well, which is usually an advantage that Alchemist has over the offlaner. He drops the acid spray and just man fights you if you choose to try and harass him out, because the armor difference is going to be too big.
Top Chalice. Gonna walk into this creep wave, contest this pull, get a lot of these last hits in fact, and he might even go for the next wave, cut it again. I think you're just gonna allow this Alch to farm, but there's not a lot of choice in the matter.
Yeah, they know that, especially with the Chen, a dual lane's just not going to do enough to shut down this Alchemist. So Chalice can work on trying to get that extra farm Maybe he pulls it into the hard camp, maybe he just farms it up by itself.
I think he's waiting for the small camp to respawn.
Yeah. Toss up, trying to get that bounty rune. Or power rune, rather, but it is a double damage for Jarek's at bottom lane. But Anna's going to do the same. He's going to pull the creeps into the hard camp, even pop the glyph to help him bring it down a little bit faster. Chalice with the Burrow Strike is going to try and take some of that CS, but Anna, especially with the skeleton spawn and everything else, thanks to Greevil's Greed, he got a lot of gold off of that. Our mid lane matchup, how's that supposed to go, by the way? Tiny versus DK.
I'd imagine that both do okay because Tiny has your tree grab, which I think is so strong in laning, it's almost impossible to deny it.
Yeah.
But melee versus melee, I believe maybe just wins because he can out-regen you. And Breathe Fire is so effective against attack-based CSers.
You could see maybe really pushing that advantage he has off the regen. Is he continues to tag Thompson even underneath the tower, just knowing he doesn't have to care too much. Bounty Rune's going to spawn. Seb does manage to get one of them at the bottom, so we're going to have a 2-2 split.
Not bad at all for Alex. But Chalice is going to get this big wave. He wants to try to connect it to this camp.
They're both going to connect it to the same camp, so Acid Spray versus Sand.
These are dying so fast.
Who's going to get the last hit on the neutrals? It looks like Anna actually walked away with a fair bit. X-Nova's going to show up for the first time here in a long time at top lane, trying to catch No Tail. The act of pulling.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's just having a good time. It's one of those weird stalemates where all the cores are sort of happy.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Thompson in mid lane. But even his CS is not, you can work around that. And they do spot the rotation down from bottom. And this is something that Thompson does so well. And it's very unique to his playstyle is how early and how often he's going to invade that jungle area. He doesn't want to just go into the bottom lane and pressure your tower. He wants to kill you while you farm.
And that's why PSG.LGD choose this DK, not just because he can beat the Tiny in lane, but because it's a hero that can pressure the mid tower whenever Thompson does try and go for those rotations. Bottom lane, they do manage to kill FY with the Ion Shell combo. Jarek's stun comes out and they will trade supports.
But Seb is getting a lot out of this lane. As much of a free time as Ame has had, so is Seb. They don't really have a way to kill him easily. No real hard stun aside from Ame. There's no real follow-up to that. But he's out of mana right now. This should be a death. Yeah, a little bit too greedy.
Even if he did have the mana for Surge, X-Nova made sure to be there. We could have disrupted. Especially those early levels of Surge. It is level 3, actually.
And there's already a Veil picked up by Sand King. Chalice's timing is going to be real quick.
And now he's going to be left alone in lane as Anna, with Chemical Rage and Acid Spray, is going to start trying to deal with the stacks that have been laid out to him.
These are real nice stacks. And the timing that we're looking for on this Alchemist is anything before 12 minutes, Anna will be happy about.
With this big of stacks, I imagine he's going to get there. As he's got pretty lucky on that medium stack as well with Wolves and Satyrs. You always love to see Satyrs when it comes to an Alchemist.
It's the perfect as well, like Satyr plus like some Mud Golems.
Oh yeah.
That'd be like the ideal situation.
They're going to try and kill No Tail at top lane. They really have to. Drop the Veil. They do have the Epicenter if they want to try and go for it, but instead Chalice just goes for the body blocks, and it looks like a Sandstorm. He's dead.
That is so much damage.
Yeah.
Veil, 4 levels of the Sandstorm. You're not escaping that.
And they need to be able to kill him because while the Alchemist is gone, they need to punish the fact that there's no core in this lane. Take this tower.
You got to pressure all the towers right now. If you're PSG.LGD. You need to force the Alchemist to leave the jungle, pressure his lane, make it hard for him.
Because OG's already ahead of you in that timing as Seb and Jarek's managed to take that bottom lane. Charge in on X-Nova. They are going to be able to get the double Ion Shell on top. X-Nova's going to disrupt one of them, especially with the match from Jarek's. It is impossible for the Shadow Demon to get away from that. He should know about the ward now, but honestly, it's lasted for most of his lifetime, so. OG will have gotten the full use out of it. They even have a sentry laid right next to the Observer ward that was placed out by X-Nova in the last 2 minutes. They just don't know it's there yet.
You see this, Sven, by the way? gotten the Midas.
Yep.
He wants to keep up with the timing of the Alchemist, who is rapidly approaching his own timing.
That's why it's so important for Chalice to try and get these invasions, but he's been spotted in more ways than one. He does have that charge onto him that was there, but they actually managed to get the stun. Chalice trying to get away. One first strike isn't good enough. Body blocks from Seb. Disruption out. Now with Somnus here, it's hard for OG to take this fight any longer, at least that chase. They're still going to try and defend their tier 1. That'll buy Anna more time in top lane.
Jarek's trying to pull the creep wave away, and he's going to charge out, but he's going to run into Ame, who's already pre-pepped his ulti.
He does manage to get him with the charge bash, and as a result, Ame is going to miss out on the kill. The ice pack just falls a bit shot. 5-2. This is about the time the teams are planning their rotations to secure bounty roots. Let's see what OG does to try and secure at least 2 for this Alchemist. How LGD opt to try and defeat that. We're going to Shrine up. PSG.LGD can go ahead and invade on this right side, but you can see No-Tail's brought Thompson up here. And they might just be able to get 3 as a result. They chain stun on it, Chalice with toss up in the air. They pick up that boundary root, but now the epicenter. It could be No-Tail in trouble, especially with that veil and so much magic damage. The support does die, but for OG, they call it space and gold for Anna.
Radiance now is flying out. We talked about the 12 before 12 minutes. 10 is incredibly respectable.
Yeah.
With 500 gold, this is still a very good timing for OG to hit.
PSG.LGD have not just been able to invade the jungle that often.
Because they want to take mid-tower first.
And we've seen Somnus try and take this mid-tower, but every single time OG had formed a strong defense with the Radiance up. Maybe Anna, he thinks he's strong, but the Chemical Rage going out, but the Ice Path isn't going to be good enough to protect him. As now Somnus being run down. What a stun! As Ame pops out of the jungle and hits 3, but still, Somnus being chased down by the Zion.
Anna's way too strong right now.
Falling over everybody. The unstable concoction spotting FY for a moment. FY trying to hide. The unstable concoction does explode on the Alchemist. So FY will force them to chase a little bit farther, but eventually he will die. What a big win for OG. As you said, that timing was all important.
He's so strong. They can't fight into him. And he also, there's a trick where if you spam toggle off the Radiance while your Shadow Demon disrupted, he won't pop out with it.
Did Anna manage to do that?
Yeah. That actually limits the effectiveness of the ST against the Alchemist so much. I'm not sure if they fixed it. Last me and Gunnar tested, it didn't.
Yeah, you're saying basically you don't have to do it before you get disrupted. You're saying you can actually take it off right as you come out of the disruption.
See the replay right here. And it looked like a really good stun, but they had already used their follow-up disable just to try to stop OG from coming in. And they have to take this mid tower. If PSG.LGD are going to win this game, you got to take this mid tower. Otherwise, you will not be able to place the ward that you want to place. And that's why Anna's going to come in again.
They just keep on going for it, but finally the tower does fall. They don't actually lose it to a deny. But still, I mean, Somnus has been working on that for the last 7 minutes. I remember that first rotation coming out from Thompson, and he immediately popped his Dragon Form.
Yeah, he's been whittling that one down.
So what is that? You're like, we're saying they weren't invading the jungle, trying to shut down the Alchemist because they wanted that mid tower. Now that the tower is dead, what does that afford PSG.LGD?
I think if you're PSG.LGD, you can now force a lot of aggressive vision in this jungle area, and then you can start making smoke rates into the triangle.
Yeah.
I think that's the play that you want to go for.
Because Anna, in turn, knows that his jungle is probably going to be warded and invaded. So he's going to be playing in the enemy jungle, but won't be able to do the same kind of aggressive pushes because the Radiant mid tower is still alive.
Yeah, they're not out of the woods yet. OG is in a very good position. So I think this Alk is probably the strongest hero in the game. He's about to pick up his BKB, and then you're going to have an Ion Shell surged up Alchemist that comes equipped with the BKB.
This has been OG's signature style for a full year now, is their ability to be able to use certain mechanics and synergies between heroes to buff one hero up to just a monster degree. They did it oftentimes with the damage reduction of last year with the Spectre. Now it's going to be this Alchemist Radiance, plus the Ion Shell, plus the Surge, plus the fact you've got Chen Divine Favor on your side with the Chemical Rage.
Oh, you listed so many things.
There's a lot of sick synergies for the OG side. But they need to be able to get kills in order to get towers, and they're going to start by killing FY in the mid lane. Chalice is going to TP in, trying to return fire. Pops the Veils, the charge coming in, and Chalice, he needs to be careful here. They do have X-Nova, who's going to be able to disrupt them. The BKB's been used. Up in the BKB, they have the God Strength on Ana, but he just doesn't do enough. Ana, he's a monster right now, and he is pulling down every single member of PSG.LGD into the grave, and now he's going to chase down Ame. Gets him with the unstable concoction. Ame can't get out. He's dead. The only members of PSG.LGD that can survive, the ones that made their way behind the tier 2 tower nice and early. Both X-Nova and maybe Slash Somnus realized that OG's just too big already.
You saw the Sven run in. Ame pops his God Strength, thought he was the strongest hero in the game. Ana said, no, that is not close to true with this BKB and the Surge.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Blitz, but this looks like PSG.LGD misread the timings entirely. The first time that they fought Ana, where Ame came out of the jungle, hits a 3-man stun, they still couldn't win that fight. Now they try it again.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they thought an Echo Saber would be the game changer.
Yeah.
He's got a BKB.
Yeah.
And this is a really quick Roshan. And Chen Alk is proving to be so strong. The Divine Favor, amplifying all your regen by 12% on a hero like Alchemist.
It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. This is why this combo has not been given away in many games. 6-9, 8,000 net worth lead for OG.
I've personally seen it in the games that we've casted 3 times.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, all 3 times the Alk Chen combo won.
That's an hot stat for you right there.
I'm sure Alan could tell me better.
Chalice, he's trying to deal with that regeneration factor. He does have a Spirit Vessel, but Blitz, in order to use Spirit Vessel effectively, first you have to get kills. And PSG.LGD, they haven't found one in a while. They've been struggling to get charges for Chalice.
If he, even if he has it though, I don't know how much that makes a difference. If he opens it up in the fight, the BKB's popped by the Alk, he just runs in anyways, doesn't really seem to care very much.
Yeah, it would have to be in some sort of chain stunning opportunity.
Yeah, what they really need is this DK to deal damage. Maybe his build is so greedy, going for the Hand of Midas when your Sven already has one. He has no way to initiate fights, he can't get to the back line. He doesn't really deal enough damage, so they can just ignore him. You know, he hits for 103 like a wet noodle, like Grant would say. Breathe Fire is pretty good, but they have so much regen that it all gets negated by the Chen. Maybe he just needs to farm.
Add in another 50 damage for Ana's Alchemist, and now he's going to be even more effective in bringing down towers, but they have been split up a little bit. They're going to try and go for the bottom lane. They quickly execute X-Nova. And trying to catch Somnus as well, cutting through the trees, but Jerix will make sure he cannot escape the Ice Path. Buy Somnus a little bit more time. The TP coming in from Chalice as well. Can he get there in time? There's going to be the double Ion Shell burning away Somnus. The double Bracers just isn't enough protection.
Thompson wants more. Doesn't have a toss-up for 2 more seconds. Chalice gonna give up on this top lane.
He knows he's got to be careful here because now Ana is going to come down from that high ground. And they've already used most of their TPs. They're going to be able to bring in somebody with no tail. They're going to heal up immediately. Ame's going to be able to cut his way.
The charge is coming across the map.
Actually fine. Thompson has Blink Dagger up in a second. Can they actually chase down Ame, or is it going to be X-Nova, whose life is going to be forfeit instead? In fact, Jerix is probably going to die here as he's charged in a bit too deep. The Avalanche, unstable concoction. They don't go for the support. They go for the chorus. They're still trying to finish up Ame here with the BKB activated by Ana. No tail going down underneath the sandstorm, but it's
they're climbing tier 3s.
Die. Ana doesn't care about tier 3s. He doesn't care about the tier 4s even. He's willing to die. But the TP coming in from maybe Somnus. He's going to try and get the kill onto Thompson. He is ticking out bit by bit. He has the Spirit Vessel, but he is actually going to live. The Spirit Poison is going to be enough. It seems now Challenge. Run down by Ana. Ana is very low, but he still has that Aegis. So Somnus, he commits heavily to be able to finish him up. But now he's stuck. Now he's trapped. He's actually stuck. It's blocking him in, and now he's going to get the no! Somnus thought he could get out again, but Thompson will deliver the finishing blow with Alphaset for the triple kill.
He walks in, his own illusion fights against him.
PSG.LGD, there is no other way to say it. They read this game wrong.
Yeah, they completely misread their strength. They misjudged. The fact that OG can dive into tier 3s at 18 minutes into the game,
The knockback from Jerax, who continues to be unafraid, slowly charging forward. And they're just going to die for it.
He is going to wear out, but Ana is going to be able to get the counter kill onto the Shadow Demon. But now Ana has heavily extended himself, and he does have that BKB, but if he's chain stunned, so much magic damage, he may actually fall here. The couple range, plus the BKB. Where's the physical damage?
He's going to get surged out.
He's going to not be surging away. Now he's going to turn. He's going to re-engage. He's going to turn. What a madman. He turns around and kills Chalice. Ame, they were all stunned up underneath the ice path. Another round of the Storm Hammer. Chemical Rage has worn out, but it's surged away once again.
Maybe is back, but still the lack of farm. You haven't felt this Dragon Knight's impact at all. He does have more CS by like 30 on this Tiny, but you're feeling Thompson's presence in the game. 5-0 and 8. Conversely, maybe with possibly the worst showing of the tournament that he's had, 0-3 and 0.
Yeah.
I have not noticed this DK in this game.
This is not the superstar that PSG.LGD has built this squad around this performance by him. And you know, it's not just on him, right? It's got to be his team as a whole misreading how they were going to be able to play out this game, how they were going to be able to shut down the Alchemist.
Both sides fighting for control.
They want to be able to fight for the bounty runes. Thompson, ready to go. He's going to wait out the ice path, and he can blink forward, toss back onto Somnus, or he can look for more. And he's going to look for more, and sure, he's going to grab Jared.
Finds both of them, and the double charge.
Into the charge, into the vacuum with the wall. What a sick combo from OG is now they look to be able to run down even more heroes. X-Nova. Unstable Concoction will actually stun himself, but X-Nova's just playing a game to ring around the rosy. But it has a deadly finish for X-Nova. It's now 9-20. OG marching high ground in 20 minutes again.
They have to deal with Chalice, who sits in the Sandstorm, is going to back out the charge. Probably not going to complete. Probably not going to complete it.
Okay, takes a few shots from the fountain, no big deal. Dances it off.
And they're going to take Rax 20 minutes in. LGD cannot contest them at this point. Ame has finally realized what the situation is, and it is dire. He's going to try to get his BKB just so he can fight, but it's really the damage that they lack right now.
Where's that damage going to come in? They finally finish at the BKB, but I'm not sure if that's much of a game changer for PSG.LGD. Even if Somnus had his, that's not going to give you the damage you just blatantly need against this Alchemist, who now has an AC and is soon going to have a heart.
Oh, he's got a heart? I thought he just completed the AC. Yeah, it's 20 minutes in.
22,000 net worth, 17,000 lead for OG. And you can make as many arguments you want about an Alchemist and how he's supposed to be ahead, but no way he's supposed to be this far ahead.
Yeah, 17K. Normally when we say that, we mean like 5, 6. That's okay. 17, you are behind.
Chain stun. They're going to be able to get 2 different stuns, but Somnus holds on to his as Thompson makes his entrance and vacuum back. He's going to be another with the double damage from Thompson, and Ana dealing so much damage as well. Tier 2 to fall. And a Tier 3 surely to follow as PSG.LGD, they just lack the strength to be able to deal with this any longer. Thompson's going to be able to get his entrance into X-Nova. Follow up on it, Chalice, as Jerax managed to get the Nether Strike onto him. Chalice, Burrow strikes away.
And they're just going to call it.
GG.
Sven picked up his BKB, not even going to bother at this point. He understands how this game has been done in.
I mean, Ana couldn't have said it better, right? With this chat wheel as they
look at that. Seven, the disrespect.
I'm sorry, crowd. Where are you at?
Excuse me?
Where are you at? I don't hear you. Oh.
It almost feels like the crowd's giving them a little bit extra motivation.
Oh, yeah.
You see No-Tail, he says, I want all the smoke.
Oh, gee. Don't give them a reason to play against you like that. They already showed it once. Not once, but twice against EG. When they've got some vendettas on the line, OG shows up to play, and boy, did they in this game 2. Absolutely perfect, as OD and Ana said in that game. What a victory for OG. 1-1 now.
Yeah, you notice no booze this time. The crowd knows. They're like, oh no.
Hey, you gotta give it up. You gotta give it up to good performance. You can't poke the bear any longer. OG tie the series.
we keep talking about the crowd strats. Definitely do think it's important, but I also think one of the really important things is going to be coming prepared with your own strats. And I think no matter how many pieces of paper you bring out, I think a lot of them are going to have ALK written all over them, Lacoste.
Yeah, let me just check my notes real quickly. Yeah, that's it. Ban Alk.
Oh.
It's a good one.
It's really hard to play against Alchemist when you give him a free farm at the start. He had a 10-minute Radiance. They didn't address his farm. Also, Dragonite on the mid lane is going for Hand of Midas. It's a good build if you can sustain. But with this kind of alignment, Spirit Breaker, Alk, and Darkseer, they're going to run it. And this is the one of the better combos that I've seen besides the Tiny and the Faceless Void. You give Iron Shell to the Radiance carrier, to Alk, plus the speed. He just runs in. Once he gets that BKB as well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I have that on my notes as well. I just ban Alk. I think that this has been something that's definitely a theme, Grant, throughout the tournament.
Yeah. It's Alchemist, and the thing was, it wasn't even a first phase Alchemist. They had plenty of times to ban it. It was their third pick. We saw the Chen. I was really surprised. When you first picked Chen, I was like, oh, Alk's just going to get banned in the second phase.
Yeah.
And you let it through, and it looked like they had a decent counter because they did okay in the other lanes. Obviously, the Alk was free farming, but I mean, the Sand King was free farming too. Obviously, Alk accelerates more, but eventually, you're just going to get run over. It's a Spirit Breaker freaking Darkseer.
And it felt like it got to a point too where that one fight in the river, where the Shadow Demon wasn't level 6. I thought they had that fight. And then I look at X-Nova, I'm like, oh, he doesn't have Purge. And so without that Purge, the Ion Shell's coming. He got out of the Ice Path with the ulti there from the Alchemist right after, and he just ran them down. I think that's like such a crucial fight. It's hard to like bring a whole game down to such a moment like that, but that's one of those times you just really need to cut that momentum.
Exactly, and the Alchemist lineup will punish you with those small mistakes. It's so easy to snowball with it. Like, you have a tower hitter on top of it. You have a Chen who amplifies the heal, even with his ulti. And Chalice was trying to get a Spirit Vessel, but even if you get a Spirit Vessel, he's still gonna have a BKB plus 1/2 more items at the time.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the Alchemists, right? It's always like these Sven, these Alks, and these life stores, mobility, and you just have a surge behind you 24/7. It's crazy. You can always get in and out of fights whenever you want.
And I do want to kind of go back to that first game, right? In the first game, we say that it's a very skirmish style of Dota. When we get to the second game, it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, it was just in your face. Like we said, OG's the team that lost. They're the teams who has to swap it up, and they definitely did. They were just, from 10 minutes onward, they were always chasing down a hero. They were never just farming.
And we had cooldowns as an issue last game, right? We have like Faceless Void, we have Tide Hunter. This game, just nothing. Now, the only cooldown you have to worry about is like Alchemist Ultimate. Charge.
Oh no, 10 seconds, hurry.
Now, when we look forward to the third game, I do kind of want to, for anybody tuning in right now, to see the winners final, to get a look at who that first team in the grand final is going to be. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Also, I do kind of want to say right now, like, what is the style of these teams for anyone who maybe didn't even watch last year, because this is a rematch from the same point last year. What makes these teams so strong?
I guess I would just kind of go back to this idea of like OG's built around. It feels like breaking the game. Like they like to do damage resistance stacking. They like to introduce new heroes as cores that weren't supposed to be cores, or sometimes new heroes as supports that maybe weren't supports. Yeah, they're trying to pick something that you're not ready for and to try and catch you off guard with it. Whereas LGD, no mystery, right? I feel like they're just extremely good. They're clinical. They're calculated. They're playing very good Dota. So you have this battle of like, are you going to get caught by surprise, or are LGD just going to play their game and take it?
Secret didn't look that convincing at the winner's bracket and the part of the loser's bracket as well, but they kind of copied what OG is doing. Like, they took the carry IO and they managed to throw out the Ouija gaming in a series 2-0, 20, 25-minute games, and it feels like this is the style that you need to play. Like, if enemy team picks more late-game oriented heroes, you just punish it or play around the big ulti cooldowns, which right now OG didn't have any, so they just run at you.
Yeah, eventually you start to see that some of these things that, yes, they may catch you off guard, they might be a surprise, but when it's actually iterated upon, Grant, it's something that is strong as well, and we might even see become pages that are added into the textbook. I think the IO was something that surprised everybody pretty much instantly, and now people are actually talking about whether or not it should be banned and in what scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it right here on page 7091, and this Wisp, I'm surprised it's not seeing more play, but I think it's going to keep out permanently banned from this. You can't let OG have it ever. I think it's always going to be IO mag banned versus OG every single game, grand finals, losers bracket. Now, they're never getting those two heroes.
Yeah, it is very interesting, though, like you said, to see the team start to adapt to that very quickly. But we have that fire and ice situation. We have a team that we expect to play that textbook Dota, and the other team that's going to throw all the pages up in the air and make their own book. And if that book was something that worked the last time, what worked in TI8, will work here in TI9. And I think already in this series, though, from both of these teams, we see how much flexibility that they really do have, because we can see two completely different games of Dota within the same series. This third game going to decide who goes to the grand final.
Yeah, sure. It's TI. It's the last 2 days. You have to be flexible. You have to have all kinds of styles and strategies ready to go. And hopefully you still have something left. But if you've made it this far in TI and you still have a strategy kind of left out there that you really believe in, you're like unbelievable at Dota if you've managed to get this far without pulling out said tricks. So
what if you don't even get your best strat out?
And that would be impressive.
Like, we had so many strats prepared that I didn't want to even use them.
Maybe Liquid, right? They had the 3-0 in the final. They're probably like the only one where you can be like, okay, yeah, maybe they did have something else left there just in case.
You got to pull it out eventually. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? So I definitely do think that that's something that you have to think about. But at this point, we think most of the cats are out of the bag. The thing is that we can actually use to look a little bit deeper is to actually see what the teams had to say before TI even started. Dove had a chance to sit down with LGD.
那去年的 DPC 排行榜，老干爹是排在了第6。你们对于去年一整年自己的发挥和这个成绩还满意吗？
就我个人而言的话，对自己一整年的发挥都不满意吧。然后整个队伍的状态，就可能因为一些之前的影响，就肯定是整体来说都不太好嘛。
感觉每个比赛就都没有发挥好吧，打得不是很好。今年一整年都就一般吧，打的。
那其实感觉这一整年。很多选手都有比较大的进步，那你们是否觉得在 TI8 之后，心态上面有没有一些什么进步？
心态肯定进步的呀。
这一整年其实挺难熬的，对吧？那有没有一些比较开心的瞬间？
要说的话，应该是 VG 夺冠的瞬间吧。我们是 VG 老粉，
我是 V 坤，
是 VG 夺冠，我们很开心。
替 VG 开心。虽然去年一整年都很难熬，最难熬的时候是什么时候？
有一段时间 maybe 就逃了，回去结婚了，我们非常难熬。
就是在队伍人员不整齐的时候，就会觉得稍微有点难熬一点。但其实那个 Major 你们打的成绩还可以的。
是这样的，但当时就感觉还蛮有希望夺冠的。
查理斯一直在点头，你怎么看那段时间？
那罪魁祸首就是我，别说了。
主动背锅是不是？那问一下，去年有哪个人的哪句话让你至今还记得？
就是开始选人了，搬完了，准备1、2手选人了，他突然问了一句 ：“FY， 这把炸不炸？”就转头这样，这把炸不炸？FY 就。
那其实老干爹虽然说拿了第6名，但是前面的5支队伍都是很强的队伍。你们是否还觉得自己依然是一支很强的队伍
？VG 最强嘛 ，VG 跟那个秘密独一档，我们就靠后。
我们在采访 VG 的时候，他们说跟老干爹打训练赛，河道都过不去。
乱说了，我们
一看就是造谣。
就我们一过河道就被他们5个人冲出来乱杀，我们就是训练被他们打个什么10比0这种很正常。
就我们的训练就是被 LGK 操盘，就是都在他掌控下，他想让我们输就让我们输，想让我们赢就让我们赢。就我们出发前 LGK 都特意来说了一句：“你们要谢谢我抬了你们一手，就没把你们打得很惨。”
事实上就是我们根本没怎么赢过他们，
真的很恐怖。
现在看到他们，我们都在发抖。
那再次来到 TI， 2个人是抱着什么样的心态过来的？
肯定是抱了一点积极一点的心态嘛，就不能说想着什么复仇这种，就是你要复仇，你要向谁复仇嘛？还只能向 OG 啊。但是 OG 呢，怎么说呢
？OG 当然也很强
对 ，OG 当然也很强。反正就不能抱着这种心态，肯定要抱着一点正面一点的心态，就抱着这种负面的心态打比赛不太好。
我们在来之前看过一段 FY 的采访。他说他自己的心理预期是，只要不拿第2名、第1名，其他任何几名都可以。你们怎么去看待？你的心理预期是什么？
没有什么预期吧，因为你有些队伍训练不到，然后你对那几个队伍评估也不太确定。认真来说的话，你也预期不了，但肯定就是越往上越好嘛，排名越靠前越好，肯定是想着。
think the teams are too good.
Nah, I want to see the chaos.
I mean, I want to, but I don't
Guys,
think
they went out first.
Yeah.
So
the decision making when the game gets kind of confusing, even for the pro players, like what is happening? This 3 volley from Tiny on a 12-second cooldown. How do you counter that? Like you get Quelling Blades, cut down all the trees.
So that's why you want late game. You're trying to figure out how to deal with a Tiny Aghanim Scepter. That's a good question because no one knows the answer. That's another great reason to see. Okay, cut down the trees.
No,
we're trying, buddy.
Get the cooldown to 60 seconds.
So I
do
nerf
it.
Okay.
Okay. There we go, Lacoste. I do want to say, kind of, when we look at the past matchups as well, are there any pressure points? We talked about definitely wanting to look at our 4s when we actually go to head-to-head matchups where we could potentially see some of the most impactful play come out on the individual level. But Grant, do you think that there's any player right now that you want to see step up?
I think Chalice, honestly. I think that they're just banning his Ogre first phase every time, and he's got to prove that it's not just like this Ogre Centaur, right? We saw Sand King, which played pretty well. You know, he was stealing a lot of creeps. He was using a lot of mana to steal creeps as well from the Alchemist, which hurt him, and I think he is their big playmaker, right? He went Veil, Spirit Vessel, Sand King, and then he didn't even have charges on it. Like, it just felt like he needs to be way more impactful on the map.
Okay, we're going to keep that in our mind as our teams take this stage. Right now, the crowd favorite coming out, and you can definitely hear the crowd's going to be giving them their energy throughout the entirety of this matchup. This third game going to decide everything in the rematch from last year. The winner of this going to be going to the grand final. Coming in with that.
Carried by their coach.
Yeah, exactly. We will have to see what they have in store as well. We talk about just how different this game could be from the last one. I'm trying to see if we can get a glance of all of the papers actually inside of that booth right now.
What do you think it's written besides the
considering
obvious stuff?
There's some little, there's the papers right there. That was it. Those are the real papers.
They finally
Mind games confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, just drafts, right? I think most teams just got drafts. Like if they draft this, I know when I talk to a few coaches, it's literally, you know, we have these papers, and it's if they draft this, they ban this, we'll pick this, they'll pick that kind of thing. It's just a bunch. You just go down a checklist almost.
It's like a tree. It's like a decision tree, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're just kind of answering different things when they happen, so you don't get caught up in the moment when you're up on the main stage surrounded by tens of thousands of people.
You don't want to just have this last pick, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, what is good? What do we pick? You always want to have at least something in the back of your mind.
We're very fortunate with all the resources we have too, right? I mean, we just have scrapbooks of drafts. It's so easy to just like open up a web page and they're just all there.
Anyone
and
at home.
you see the teams using the same tools that we use, right?
Yep.
Like they're just printing off pages.
They read it better. Like they know what they're looking for. And by the way, Nahaz told me it was the 4th fastest ever timing on the Radiance. Ever, yes.
That helps.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a fast, but not that fast.
That's not podium level. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I mean,
it was interesting because I thought I was watching the game, and I'm just like, the Sand King's actually stealing a lot of his neutrals. He's Sandstorm, like he's getting a ton of gold, and then Alex still just going super far. He could have had an even quicker one because I thought the Sand King did okay in the first 5 minutes.
Not even in top 3, huh?
Yeah.
So we're setting some records here already when we're looking at that. We've set a lot of records at this TI. We really have. We see the highest placement of an entire region, and now we look at this matchup, and already there's a 75% chance. Nahaz is probably going to yell at me for this, but Wick tweeted it out this way, so I might get out of Dodge. A 75% chance that we see a 2-time champ. I know that's not. See Nahaz shaking.
No, that's how math works. I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Nahaz shaking his head right now.
Every match is just a coin flip, so it's okay.
Yeah, right. I think even if that was the case, that would still be incorrect, right? Yeah, Nahaz is actually. I've never seen Nahaz smile. That dude loves numbers. He absolutely loves his stats. He's sitting there like a jolly guy, just laughing at my numbers. But ultimately, we are in a position where we still do have so many potential 2-time champions this time around. And when we look at the side of OG, obviously, how crazy would it be if not only we have the first time that somebody's been able to win, not 1, but 2 TIs, be a back-to-back champion? Well, let's see if they are going to be able to make that giant leap. Will they be able to get the best seats in the house? Will they be able to go straight to the grand final?
PSG 3.
Game 3, the magic number when you're playing on the TI main stage, at least for us, the viewers. Maybe the teams would prefer 2-0, but luckily they don't get what they want.
But we do.
Yeah.
So here, game 3, OG got picked first pick. They won the coin toss, and LGD picked Dire.
I think whoever has first pick has a huge advantage this TI.
You say that so far in this series, first pick has lost both games. Why do you think first pick has the big edge here?
Especially for OG, because there's like I said, there's so many heroes that if you just pick it has a huge edge. Enchantress, Io, or not Io, but like Io for OG, I guess. Io, Chen. I think they forgot about the Chen at LGD, but like Magnus is pretty high up on OG's priority too.
Yeah.
So OG has a lot of these like first pick heroes that LGD don't want to give, but LGD don't have like a lot of first pick heroes.
I think the LGD draft was actually really good against the whole OG draft. I thought LGD outdrafted them, besides one factor, which was the Chen Alchemist. I think that was the one trump card for OG. If the Alch got banned and even they picked up the Spectre second phase, I don't think this Chen Spectre is as strong as this Chen Alch.
Yeah.
I think the game would have went a lot different.
Because those first bans, you're normally thinking about what you're giving up, and it does feel like maybe they forgot about the Alchemist, particularly the synergy with the Chen in that second ban phase when they're banning Spectre and Void.
Right now, I think they're deciding whether they should ban Magnus or Chen, and they just stick with the Magnus.
They're probably also thinking Alchemist, because OG banned AA in the first stage this game. So last game, it was second stage. They banned the AA to protect an Alchemist, and guess what? OG's first pick Chen, Alch is still in the pool.
I think LGD has to take Alch here.
Or ET. They might pick ET.
Or both.
Yeah, what are the heroes you're picking to deal with an Alchemist in the first stage if you're expecting that second pick?
I don't think you can. The Alch Chen is so strong. I don't even know if I've seen it lose this whole tournament. Like the two, maybe they've lost one match together, but every match I've seen, it's a stomp. The 20% more healing works so with his ult. His creeps can protect your jungle. You kind of go back and forth. There's all these they make up for each other's weaknesses. You know, they're like one of the best duos in the game. I think you can pick.
Well, they do get the ET you suggested, Febby, the most picked hero of the tournament so far.
Yeah, second most played by LGD actually with a 86% win rate. Mini Nahas here.
Statsman Febby.
Yeah.
I think they have to take the Alch here. I think unless they have a set idea of how to beat this Alchemist, it was too strong last game. I think even if you kind of contest him in the early game, he's going to get a Radiance, and they give up the Alchemist.
They have a different idea. It's the Tiny who OG had last game as well. I mean, as far as heroes that have looked the best of the best, I feel like Tiny is in that category as well.
Yeah, it's just so versatile. It can play as support, but nowadays we see it more on core with the tree volley. Just coupled with some AoE stuns, this tree volley can do a lot of damage late game.
Yeah.
The scary thing about this Alchemist is most Alchs are going at least one bracer, if not two, which means that he's not going to die to this Tiny combo in the early game if it's a core Tiny. Maybe with the ET aura, the magic.
Yeah.
But even then, I think it's kind of pushing it.
We could see some of those combos around ET, like the ET Gyrocopter, where you run people down with the magic damage. Of course, OG now have two bans to protect themselves from some of the heroes they're worried about.
Probably they're going to ban the Void.
Yeah, that's the other hero.
And the Gyro. I think those are probably the top two priorities for OG.
Ember's pretty up there too, I think, for LGD.
Lifestealer is okay. As we said, like last game, it's good against the creeps. You can eat the creeps. It's decent against the Alchemist, I think.
It does not abuse the ET aura though. I think like you gotta ban those heroes that abuse the ET aura. I can see them picking up Jakiro too, but it's not worth banning for OG. But
he's a Radiance buyer. And that's ET aura, magic, and physical. I think the one scary thing about not scary thing about the Lifestealer though is like he doesn't do enough damage until later in the game for this Alchemist, like, you know, post 30-35 minutes. And before then, this Alch Chen I think is going to run them over. Like we saw last game, this Alch had such a fast Radiance, and the game just feels over like 15 or 20 minutes, right? There's that one Roche fight, or the River fight. Shadow Demon's level 5. The Alch gets like 3 kills. Sven tries to hit creeps, but now this Alch's like double his net worth. And the game feels really over.
Yeah.
And Lifestealer's going to be in the same position, right? Like sure, like him, like the Sven can scale against this Alch. You know, 3-4 items, maybe 5. They're going to be evenly matched, but this Alch is going to have 3 items on you, and at that point...
Well, yeah, how do you beat it? And the Chen synergy with the Alch is not just the amplified healing. It's you've got this hero in the jungle that's stacking for the Alchemist, can stack with his hero, can stack with his creeps. Something OG are very efficient about getting Ana as much farm as possible when he's playing Alchemist.
One of the issues with like this multi-thing stacking is you can only micro so much, right? So it's like you can kind of try to get like 2-3 camps as well, but it's kind of hard. So I think what a lot of teams can do is they give away the Chen creeps to their other players. So he can give like 2 creeps to this Auk, and the Auk can also stack 2 other camps, you know?
Yep.
And they're just maximizing their efficiency.
It's the gyro ban, so PSG.LGD do have Faceless Void open to them if they want to go for it. And Ame has played a decent number of games on the Void. He is comfortable on the hero.
Yeah, it's one of Ame's favorite heroes.
They also, LGD banned the Darkseer. It worked. It was so good with the Outclass game. He's just getting Surge early game. He's already fast from ult. He's already a fast hero. He has phase boots and he has a Surge. He's running, you know, like 600 movement speed, 700 movement speed.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because like 2 days ago, Darkseer was untouched, right? Yeah. It wasn't picked at all. Now, OG is just bringing it back.
He was one of, I think, the last 5 or 6 heroes unpicked or unbanned, unpicked at least in the entire tournament.
Yeah, and then he got picked by Secret, maybe?
Secret or Liquid?
Liquid. It was Liquid with mind control.
Yeah. I think it's coming back a little more because teams are, I think, valuing Ember a little more than they were the past couple days. Alchemist is also getting up there, and Tiny. And Darkseer with those 3 melee heroes in particular are really good for the 15 to 25 minute mark. Ember, for obvious reasons, his ult's faster. His Flame Guard just becomes a better Flame Guard with the Ion Shell. Out for what we said, and Tiny just because he gets you in position, and that's all Tiny needs. He needs to get in position for these toss avalanche combos and dealing a lot of damage.
Shadow Demon is picked up by PSG.LGD, giving them SD ET support duo. One of them will be FYs. Do you think that's more likely to be the Shadow Demon getting the
probably the
here?
Shadow Demon.
Also a block pick. If they wanted the Void, you want to take that SD away from OG, I feel, because that's the save that teams often want to be picking and playing against the Faceless Void.
It's also good against the Auk if you're really far behind, because if you make illusions of him and he has Radiance AC, you'll get both the ores on your own team.
Well, the trick we've been seeing is you can turn the Radiance off while you're disrupted.
You can't turn off AC.
Oh, true. Yeah, they can turn off the Radiance.
Backpack it, but there's also
yeah. But as far as the Radiance goes, I feel like the SC, we're seeing all these Auks now just, you know, you can spam it and turn it off inside the disruption.
Tida made it to the second phase.
Ooh, it's a really good Morphling game for LGD, I think.
Yeah, I saw Morphling. It's okay. I think there might be a little too much pressure in the mid game for Morph, but it lanes really well against the Tide. But I think they're just gonna give Ame last pick.
They needed the magical damage, so they opt for the Sand King, even though they lost with it last game.
Get the fast Veil. You've got magic damage coming out from Shadow Demon. It's synergy with the ET aura.
Yeah, there is a lot of damage for LGD.
Yeah.
I guess they were happy about how their first like 5 minutes in the offlane went with the Auk pressure. But as we saw, that didn't really slow his Radiance timing down significantly. He got the 4th highest, right?
Yep.
So I guess, you know, they're feeling confident. They're like rerunning what they did last game. They're probably saying, you know, maybe our mid pick or our carry pick was a little off. Maybe we gave them too much. So maybe now they're kind of thinking, what we did with our other 3 heroes is fine.
Yeah,
we
and
got
their
to change
mid-pick
up.
has changed. It's gone from a DK to a Tiny who is kind of faster paced. It's at least a hero that can get in the Auk's jungle and steal stacks, I feel. DK doesn't really farm enemy jungle stacks or stacks at all.
Not until he's even level 12, right? Now at that point, it's too late.
So someone that can go in, threaten to kill Alchemist, take those stacks, and OG now going to have to be wondering about what they're going to get.
Probably going to pick a Thompson hero right now, unless he has multiple options. Usually on this pick right here for first pick, you want to pick the hero that you think is more important to your draft. So in this case, they pick the Rubik. And that's because they're probably going through like, yo, Jerax, do you have options? And he goes, nah, it's really, Rubik's the best. Everything else is a tier below. And they go to Thompson and they say, and he gives like, oh, both of these heroes are good, right? Because now they have the choice between 2 heroes and only one will get banned and the other will be good no matter what. And only this one a Rubik. So OG is going to pick up the Rubik. It's really good against Sand King. That's one of like the classic support counters to it.
And Thompson definitely a player who has quite a big hero pool as far as unconventional mids go. So
yeah, Dazzle ban. I think they're scared of the mid Dazzle.
Yeah, it's the second game of this 3-game series we've seen the Dazzle ban. So clearly something
that's interesting.
They believe OG can do. Maybe they've seen it in scrims.
Yeah, maybe I think it should be the scrims. OG played a mid Dazzle and it was pretty scary, stalling out the game for the Alchemist.
It's also got synergy with the Chen. You get more healing on your team. If you ever grave the Auk, he's going to heal back up to half health by the time it's over.
It's a lot of minus armor too. Acid, Gush, Dazzle. A lot of marines.
Void Band, they're still scared of that.
And that's the carry we expected to see in response to OG's draft with the Tiny Tree Volley as well as the Elder Titan Earth Splitter synergy. It would have been a great option for them as their last pick.
It's also one of the good people have figured out counters to Tide. That's why we see it a little less, I think, now. Because he can't, you know, break off the Chrono, right? If he gets stunned by a Chrono, he's getting stunned full duration of Chrono. It's not going to end after 500 damage like every other spell.
So the most optical Thompson Zero right now would be some brawler frontline that can fight with the Tide and the Rubik and the Chen. Has damage and has deep push. He needs like all those 3 options.
Tide have all those options?
I think so, right? Brawler, deep push with the Q, overwhelming odds, and like, what else did I say?
Fight with Tide.
Yeah, fight with.
Good minus armor.
It's kind of a cool pick too. It's another hero that benefits from the Chen amplified healing. It gives them a save, something that, you know, we saw PSG.LGD pick Shadow Demon to take away from OG potentially. So having a save in a second save with the Chen heals as well gives them a lot of ways to keep this Alk alive.
Also, this OG timing push at 20-25 minutes. He walks up high ground and he's going to get 100 attacks.
Last pick, Slark. Ame Slark. He brought this one back into the meta if you go back to Epicenter, and this is a pick against a lot of melee cores. This is Theorycraft is one of the better cores run against Alchemist. You guys like the last pick, Slark?
I think if they put it mid, I think it's pretty good. It lanes well against the Legion Commander. It's one of the few heroes that can kind of trade with it. And I think if they do that, Ame's going to get off to a start. He's probably going to be able to carry the game.
I think, yeah, in the late game, it's going to out-carry the Archimist. So, but the question, of course, every time is if they can get to the late game.
Well, we're going to have to find out if they can hold, because Alchemist with Chen hits that scary timing. We've seen OG. They just ran over them in that game too. Do you think they're going to get to the late game?
There's a lot of hero from OG. The LCW, what is it called?
The press the attack.
Press the attack here, the Chen here, the Chen Aura, Archimist ulti here. There's a lot of here.
All right. Well, we've got Casey on stage to hear some final thoughts from one of the coaches before we get into our Game 3 decider.
That's right. We're asking 357, and Josh is going to help us translate. A lot of us were surprised that you didn't choose to ban the Alchemist after it was such a huge part of OG's win. Can you give us a little bit of insight to that?
就是这一把看到你们还是把炼金放了出来，然后第二把其实炼金发挥了很大的作用，那就是请问你对这个是什么想法？
我们觉得第一把就是在炼金的处理上，策略有点失误，然后没搞好，让它太肥了。然后这把我们就是放它炼金，还是就是按我们的既定策略去打。
So in game 2, we kind of just our tactics didn't work out. We kind of made a mistake in that sense. We let Alchemist get too fat. This game we let him through anyway, but we're gonna try and improve on the tactics with regards to Alchemist.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Back to you guys.
And sure enough, we go the full series. Game 3 between OG and LGD with a twist. Everybody expected the Alchemist to be taken out of the pool, and I'm not sure if anybody expected a Thompson Tidehunter? Oh, it seems like OG's bringing something different that we haven't seen yet, Blitz.
Yeah, I think the idea behind it is essentially just give a hero that can frontline, run in for the rest of the team. You're a space maker and a playmaker at the same time. I think it's just good overall. I think the idea too behind the LC is similar to what they had with the Darkseer. Just a hero to buff up the Alk. You know where your bread is buttered.
Yeah. And as they were talking about, the press the attack is going to be a form of heal as well. That is going to be amped up by the Chen.
Yeah, I will say I think the Slark is a much better core than the Sven to deal with this. The idea that LGD had was, we need a hero to deal with the creeps. No, you need a hero to deal with the Alchemist.
And I feel like Tiny is like the biggest and best change to LGD's lineup to deal with this Alchemist. Seems like DK was too slow, especially when it came to taking that mid tower. The fight over the bounties begins in OG.
I want to know how many games Ame, or maybe has been completely blanked out. Involved in no kills at all.
Oh, look at that. X-Nova made that read perfectly. They were planning that Enon was going to take the other bounty rune. He was going to be teleported down to bottom. And now he's going to have to use his TP scroll, and PSG.LGD managed to get 3 of the 4.
Nice hard read as Chalice going to block up the creep wave. I think my favorite change to this is making FY play the Shadow Demon instead of a hero like Jakiro. I just don't love Jakiro as a 4 position. I feel like it's very limited what you can do with that hero. FY is your Ferrari. Let him roar.
Oh, this guy has no chill. And you've got a lot of play potential, and you want this Shadow Demon to be strong against an Alchemist, right? Like, part of the way of dealing with Alchemist is heavy burst damage, and Soul Catcher gives any sort of burst damage you have, it makes it look that much better. A tiny combo plus the Soul Catcher, I'm not sure what hero doesn't die for that.
Yeah, plus the Earth Splitter, of course, percentage-based things being very nice against the Alchemist. But who knows, maybe it's just going to be a little bit too strong for them, as last game was so one-sided. I personally think that the combo is way too good, and PSG.LGD, they're banking on the fact that they knew it was coming and they had an answer for it.
They did say in that interview with 357 that they were going to be pressuring the Alchemist a lot more. We see that already with FY just getting stack after stack. X-Nova doing what No-Tail was trying to do so well in game 1 with this Elder Titan, and just push back the other 2 opposing members of this dual lane and give Ame the space he needs.
Yeah, but he's already so low. He's got to be careful for the time being. Seb, once again, having pretty good lane. He's going to fight up against Ame. Doesn't seem to care too much. But now that X-Nova's here, he's got to be a little bit more cautious.
It is a pretty cool idea, right? Is that like Tidehunter and the Alchemist are very well countered by the Slark. It's just a terrible lane for Tidehunter. So being able to get the hard counter of Legion Commander against that Slark instead, and swapping Thompson over the mid lane.
Do you feel like it's a hard counter? I think when there's
Legion
a
Commander
save,
against Slark, I think it's relatively okay.
I think when there's a save, it's really hard. Top lane, X-Nova getting quite low. The nuke from Seb. Right click from Jerax. Will finish this off as Ame has to back out, reset himself, leaps away over the tree line. First blood going to OG.
It's good starts. That aggro dual lane. Our mid lane, 12-2 for Thompson. Is Somnus struggling a little bit with CS, but a wave is pushing into him. And he also has an Arcane Rune in his bottle. The lane pushing out into the favor of the Shadow Demon and Sand King, which means there's going to be some neutral lane shenanigans. We'll see how FY tries to deal with this, but at top lane, the Stomp goes out, does manage to hit at least the Rubik. Jerax is going to be quite low. Can he finish him off? X-Nova gets him in the end. Seb will return fire and bring down X-Nova.
Support for support.
I almost feel bad.
Bottom lane, Sand King having a very nice time of things. NS Farm hasn't been slowed down either. Courier almost goes down. One more hit would have done it for FY.
Boy, Thompson's just fearless here. Maybe he's going to try and put some pressure on him. Does manage to get the toss on him.
And a solo kill.
And a solo kill like that. You know, I thought Thompson knew better, but sure enough, he was way too low.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Thompson is it does feel like he dies the most out of any of the top mid laners.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to care too much. In
Yeah.
fact, I don't even know if this guy cares about deaths, farm. It just feels like he cares about getting into the enemy jungle, forcing you out, and being this frontliner for Ana. But that'll be a costly death, as maybe had such a slow start. He's already eclipsed his kill mark total from the previous game.
Seb laying down the spray when he gets pounced, while Ame in turn covers up that spray with one of his own from Vici Gaming.
Meta. You see, maybe he gave the late tip to Thompson.
Ame trying to get out of here, does have the pounce range. They're trying to block him in with Seb, but he actually juked the wrong direction. Somnus with this double damage.
Completely gonna zone out this Tidehunter. Thompson does not want to be here for the time being. Creep even just running through the area just to give one more last hit to Somnus.
Stomp goes out. Seb, big nuke that's going to force the pounce away, and X-Nova may not be able to win this man fight, especially with press the attack activated on Seb. With the level 4, it means he does have that passive to be able to bring down X-Nova. If he can get into the trees, maybe the stomp. No.
Ame's just going for the bounty runes against the Alchemist. Is so important. Jerax is going to try to race him against these, but doesn't have lift, so he will not get here in time. Neither of them have boots, but Ame is in a much better position to pick up this rune, and it looks like PSG.LGD will get away with 3 of them.
Yeah, that is makes the best of that situation. That's all 4. It's only 240 gold being collected for the OG side off of the bounties.
And they're gonna wait for this bottom lane. Nobody wants to pick it up quite yet.
Funny part is, because they have an Alchemist, OG net worth lead is even, despite that big bounty rune advantage that PSG.LGD has. Chao is doing so well. 33-6, 31-6 for Somnus, who's now looking for the toss over onto the Tidehunter. Into the tier 1 tower. Thompson without Ravage is going to be caught by the stomp. Body blocked up a little bit by FY. They'll build up the stacks and see if he's going to be the one to claim the last hit. In fact, he will. FY, he wants these last hits. He wants the fast ether lens.
Much better start for all of PSG.LGD this time around. A less greedy lineup too. I don't know if trying to outgreed an Alchemist is ever the play, because the hero doesn't work in the same sense. He's not like a Midas builder. He's just going to get his 10-minute, 12-minute items, win the game for you.
That's why we heard our draft panel talk about how important it was to shore up your mid game, because that's where the Alchemist is going to hit hardest. Once he has that Radiance plus AC.
From the 12 to like 25-minute mark, this guy is king. Nobody will touch this out. You have to be able to ride that out if you're PSG.LGD, and that's why they took the Slark. The Slark is meant to secure the late game. Yep. He's good against all 3 cores on the side of OG, and neither of the supports do anything against him. So the way this game looks is pretty clear cut. OG have a timing window, once again, where they're going to go down the lanes with their Legion backing up their Alch, so you can't ever get stunned up. Constant purges, the heals, the Tidehunter's going to back him up too. He's going to get a Vlad's. And for PSG.LGD, it's bend, don't break. Take fights. If you lose 1 or 2, that's fine, but you can't afford to give up all your tier 2 towers like you did.
Hilarious. Look at No-Tail. He's been won by Wen sending out his neutral creeps to be able to pull back the wave to stop this push. But finally, he's going to be caught as the Spirit does reveal where he's at, and PSG.LGD will dive with confidence now, especially since they've already brought down at least one of his neutrals. The Hellbear is still pulling some of the creeps, though.
Okay.
And this really is the principle of getting kills into objectives, right? Is that No-Tail, he understands the same thing, and he's saying, you can kill me, but if you're not taking the tower, it's fine.
It's on the run. He's pinging towards it. He's laughing about this right now.
The turn comforts of the melee creep is going to get the deny on the illusion rune while simultaneously pulling all of this into Ana. So it's not even going to return into the bottom lane. This is some next level shit from OG.
Oh my lord. I can't even believe that. He dragged the entire creep wave so that Ana gets a double wave in mid lane. He saves the bottom tower, maybe wastes his entire time, and he denies the illusion rune.
Dude,
that is the most value single creep that I've seen.
I mean, I think that was the most space creating, defeating death I've ever seen. No-Tail literally bought themselves like, he just killed like 3 minutes of pushing time.
Yeah, he, Pylai Dai is just like in the back. He's like scribbling notes. He's like furiously trying to figure out what he did right there. That gave Ana so much gold, brought him much closer to his Radiance. Didn't have an amazing laning phase, but that's going to help out a lot.
Yeah, it certainly is. But this is where PSG.LGD are going to have a change of tactics. Last time, they tried to go in for the mid push. They tried to take down that tower before and taking over the jungle, but this time, a smoke directly towards Ana. Chalice leading the way with the 1-level first strike.
Just got mana for ulti.
They're going to be able to get the disruption first. And the epicenter follow up. They're going to throw all the first damage onto him all at once. Chemical Rage is not going to be good enough here, sir.
By the way, I was wondering why this ward right here that PSG.LGD placed, I was like, why didn't they block the camp with that?
Yeah.
And you realize because OG's going to look for that ward. They know guaranteed that there is vision there, but by placing it up there and not blocking the ward, not blocking the camp, that's so intelligent.
Yeah.
It's going to give Ana a little bit more space, but it's going to open up kills a little bit more. They've got no idea about it.
Also, the combo, the way they set up that kill was just brilliant. It maximized the damage in a minimal amount of time, right? Leading with Disruption to get off Epicenter first rather than trying to go for Burrow Strike into Epicenter where there's this delay of damage. It really killed the effectiveness of Chemical Rage there. Now, PSG.LGD will manage to get another 3 bounties. That's 9 bounties they picked up in this game for 2,400 gold. Excuse me, that's more like 12 or something.
Yeah, that's how they've kept up in this game so far.
Oh, Jarek's! No, X-Nova doesn't have a TP.
He'll be stuck here for the time being. He's got to wait for the courier.
Look at him. He's sitting on top of the Spirit and taunting him. Before he's going to TP away, but FY actually catches him. Meanwhile, top lane, Seb's going to be caught, but it's over to mid, where Jerix, you play around in the Spirit, you do a little taunting action, showing off to X-Nova, but in the end, you get caught for it.
And he loses the ward for it too. X-Nova's fine with that.
Yeah, I think he is now, for sure. How's Thompson doing in farm, by the way? He's going to be rushing double bracers into a Vlad. So those bracers are super value for Tidehunter, both because of tankiness as well as making your anchor smash more effective.
The courier's been killed too.
That is a big pickup.
But Anno talked about the pre-12-minute Radiance.
Yeah.
This time around, they've slowed down so much of his farm.
It's not even a 12-minute relic at this pace.
Last game, he had it at like 10 minutes, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
Have they dewarded it yet? They still have vision of that area. Jerix is still looking. He doesn't see where it is. It was such a good ward.
It was.
It's the next level mind game. Give them the stack so that maybe it'll pay off and you'll get extra kills.
Smoke up, rotating to bottom. Seb, who's been holding on to this tower for OG, but now will pay for it with his life. The toss into the pounce from Ame with the Earth Splitter over the top. They really wanted to make sure that Legion Commander died fast, so there wasn't a chance of OG defensively rotating.
And they still haven't lost any towers on the side of PSG.LGD. No trade towards that top lane. It's still quite healthy. And this is going to create even more space for Ame. They can play into the jungle. Jerax is pinging. He thinks that they're going to smoke towards mid, which is why he preemptively places that sentry.
And a minus is almost here for Ame, plus his level 10. This will both help him farm a bit faster. Somnus trying to catch Ana here, does have the toss back into the creeps. The TP, it's a slow one from FY, so there's no chance of them actually killing this, but it does force a lot of rotation. Seb is now in the same lane as Ana, not really the way they want to play things.
No, not until he has Radiance anyways, and he's still working on it right now. And that's why PSG.LGD are going for all these aggressive maneuvers. They know that they've slowed down the timing enough. Thompson isn't really getting involved in fights either. They just want to defend this mid area while he tries to catch up and farm. This is not the typical Thompson game that we see where we see him rotate into the enemy jungle. He's been a lot more farm-centric. It feels like both mid laners have been swap positions. Seb getting gone on at top.
They do have Jerix, though, TPing in. Telekinesis toss back onto X-Nova, and Seb, as he wakes up, he'll see this as an opportunity to get some duel damage.
It's the first duel win for him in this game. But yeah, it feels like whoever has Tiny is playing aggressively, and whoever doesn't just prioritizes the farm. Thompson, we felt his impact in the mid game so often throughout this series alone.
Looks like they don't want to give up this tower. Chalice, he's going to show himself. Chalice with the Veil out. Not actually trying to get any extra damage off the epicenter, surprisingly enough. Maybe with FY here, trying to catch somebody with the disruption, does get him. That's going to be the Chen caught. Chalice ready to go with another round of the Burrow Strike. But even if they don't kill Seb, will get a kill at the top lane. Still, though, I'm sure OG is quite happy with the space created as they took the mid tower.
Ame forcing Thompson out of the jungle right now, who just continues to plug away at his farm. Maybe he's going to go for... Not sure.
The Radiance is here. You know that OG, the last time they picked up this Radiance, they immediately barreled into PSG.LGD.
But the timing was much better last game.
Yeah.
That was almost a full 4 minutes ago that they got it. It just delays up everything. The AC timing that he got, the BKB. So he has to continue to just farm up, and PSG.LGD are in a much better spot. In fact, at this point in the game, I believe they were down 3-4K.
Oh, no! He still managed to get the long-range Burrow Strike onto No-Tail, but that is a maxed-out Prestige tag. Still not good enough to be able to save No-Tail. Now the duel onto Chalice with the Ravage out. Disruption, though. Barely saves in time. They have the Earth Splitter over the top, and now Chalice looking to be able to get the kill on the Seb. Maybe more as Thompson. Burns goes down. Toss forward. Chalice, he's going to die. Somnus actually accidentally killing his offlaner. And maybe he may have just got himself killed as well as Anna chasing him down with the Radiance. Somnus is going to need another beautiful toss away. Looking for it.
A little too long,
but it's going to be too long. The Avalanche is there. The gun slowing down Somnus, and the Radiance will burn him down. No chance for a blink.
And Anna finally decides to participate with his Radiance. He understands that he's the strongest hero in the game. He's got to make his presence known. March his way towards the top lane, and it looked like it was going to be so good from PSG.LGD. They got the disruption on the Sand King. They were fighting under the Sandstorm for so long, but it sort of evens out.
One of the advantages of this Chen is being able to pull people around the map, and we see that with Thompson, who gets TP back to the fountain, is ready to go with the TP somewhere else in the map. If he felt like he wanted to go top, he could have done so.
Yeah, and for the third game in a row, OG is going to take the mid tower first. They prioritized it so heavily in their games.
Oh, Arcane Room going to be left behind, and Anna sees it. Thank you very much. That'll mean some more acid sprays.
Top, gonna be taken.
They see all these heroes rotating over. PSG.LGD really want to
Seb
take the fight, but Seb is gonna try and get the initiation onto Somnus. They have the unstable concoction, but the rest of PSG.LGD is on their way. There goes the duel, but Challenge gonna be able to get a two-man bro strike. Ame pouncing in as well with the two-man dark pact on top of everything else, on top of the Sob, and now they have Seb dead, but Anna is still so tanky. He gave him with his dying breath the press the attack. The level 4 press the attack with so much regeneration means Anna will be able to bring down X Nova. Now he looks for more, but Chalice, he's just trying to pull the creeps away. Buyback over to the side, the buyback. Chen is here as well. X Nova trying to catch him. FY looking for the disruption while Ame taking stacks after stacks, but he waited out the dark.
Ame's gonna die.
Oh, the challenge save! Ame trying to get away. The toss over onto the Sunny, but it doesn't matter. Ame lives. Anna dies, and now Thompson's going to be run down underneath the trees as he tries to juke it around, but eventually Somnus going to be able to find him. They have the Bro Strike there as well. Back over to Ame, who managed to finish off Jarek's on top of everything else. 7-14, LGD win a massive fight in the top lane.
And OG, I thought that Ame was dead for sure, but they find the save for him to follow up. This is going to be a value shrine. I'd like them to continue to play faster, smoke up, attack that triangle area. You're together here as 5 right now. Looks like they're going to back out, farm through. Ame still in a really comfortable position, about to pick up his Diffusal Blade. Medallion on Chalice.
Feels a little bit like game 1 now, where OG had that net worth lead. But once LGD were finally able to reclaim it, things started snowballing heavily. We'll see if LGD can do that again, or if they're going to play it a little bit more passive this time around, because they do have so many items about to flow in. Ame almost has a Diffusal Blade. They're going to work towards Aghanim Scepter on Somnus, though he needs the full kit still.
And if you're PSG.LGD, you probably want to take a fight. They've got to be a little bit cautious, though. And they did end up going to the triangle area. They just didn't smoke for it. OG, they've got the Ravage. They want to take this fight, too. Both teams feeling like they're stronger than the other.
Where Thompson shows up is all important because he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He needs to be able to get on top of PSG.LGD, and he gets on top of X Nova right away. But there's the disruption. Thompson dodges the stomp. Seth still trying to close the distance, wants to be able to catch X Nova, but he completed his TP. Anna was done himself. They'll surely know about the vision on the high ground now, but OG did not get the successful smoke gank that they were hoping for.
Yeah, both teams battling it out for position right now. And now it's going to be an immediate run into the Roche pit. Feels like deja vu of game number 1.
Hey, yeah, that's because Somnus TP'd out to the bottom lane. He thought that was spaced as OG failed to find a kill, but now he has to run all the way across the map.
And it's got a BKB too. They should feel pretty strong here, but they don't do it quite fast enough.
Can PSG.LGD actually take a 5-on-5 against BKB and a pipe with Ravage?
If they're looking like it, I don't think you can give this Aegis up for free, because I feel like it's going to be then a repeat of game 2.
If they find an opening like this, it's going to be massive with the Soul Catcher taunt. Again, who can survive against that combo? Certainly not
good. With the pipe, it looked like he was strong enough. You were wrong, friend, and now the crowd coming back alive. Seb said, where are you at? And they're responding now. Top lane, gonna get caught on now.
He's gonna use that last bit of life to kill the Observer Ward, and he does manage to pick up the bounty rune. So Thompson grabbing the 3 on the right hand side of the map. If they can actually kill this Alchemist, it would be huge. He still has BKB, but he doesn't pop it fast enough. He's the Bro Shark instead. Ana thought he had more time, but that is a limited resource against PSG.LGD's aggression.
Pickoff after pickoff, they're finding course around the map. We still haven't really felt the impact of his Tidehunter either. 0-3 and 3. Thompson was so dominant in game number 2.
7-17. Still, LGD holding that slight net worth lead against an Alchemist.
You're not feeling good right now if you're OG. Your Alch Chen combo should be the strongest at this point. You picked up a pipe on Seb. You've got a Vlad's, a medallion on Thompson. This is almost the exact same situation as last game. They've itemized in a very similar way too, but it just doesn't really feel like they've got the same oomph.
There's so many things that I mean, Seb maxed out press the attack first, for example. Him going for the pipe, as you said, it's like they're all showing that they're trying to synergize around making this Alchemist the strongest he can be. And now Seb may just get caught again. Thompson's going to be here, ready to go with the Ravage. 2-man Bro Strike, Earth Splitter as well. Beautifully placed. That's going to be a lot of damage to start things off. The Stomp, though, will allow them to retreat.
They're just going to back up as they rightfully should. They don't quite have the mana for this, and it looks like they're just going to walk into Roshan again. I heard Ana, he did pop his ulti. And yep, if you toggle it off,
yep,
it works.
He managed to do it in time, so LGD won't have that easy way.
You just have to spam press it, I believe.
Yeah.
And it takes it off, because he definitely had Radiance turned on when he was under. When he pops out, neither the Illusions did.
Gush, as well as the Medallion.
Oh, this is a nice room for him to pick up the Illusion. This is going to scout out for him, stop any blinks. The initiation up from the Sand King as well.
Disruption onto the Illusion Alchemist. Not able to turn that Radiance off. They have vision of that Observer Ward as well, but everyone is a little bit too scared to be that far forward. Jarek showing himself at top, Ana showing himself at bottom. LGD have a little bit more confidence that they control this mid area. The BKB soon for Ame. If OG doesn't take that Roshan soon, I fear they may miss their timing blitz.
I'm not really sure. I'm trying to figure out where they go from here, because once he gets the AC, that's one of the strongest power spikes in the game for this Alchemist.
Yep.
You can get items after that, but the 3-item timing of this Alch is used to be, it's so powerful. That's what they rode last game, and this game it feels like they're still going for the same play. It's just not really there for them. It's harder for them to push into PSG.LGD's lineup. They haven't taken enough tier 1 and tier 2 towers. Thompson, I think, has had the roughest game. We're not really feeling the impact of this Tidehunter. It feels like he's having a similar performance that maybe did. And it doesn't feel good going all these items that are meant to empower your Alchemists, and you're not winning team fights behind that hero. So they're going to go for it again.
Spirit revealing and slowing things down. Hope until the Mud Golem stunning up X-Nova.
But Ame's really far away. They noticed that he wasn't there, and this might actually be...
It's a free Rosh. Unless. No. Something's not going to go for it, is he? He's thinking about it. He's hovering around this area. He's going to go for the blink. Gushed up. Won't be able to anymore. The Earth Splitter going down. Challenge. Who got to get in, but the Age is picked up by Ana. And now Challenge immediately punishes. He's hit by the Ravage. They do have the disruption on top of the duel. X-Nova will eventually die here. Ame with his BKB. He activates it, but everybody of OG is so tanky. PSG.LGD, was this a mistake to try and challenge this Roshan FY? Trying to get away, but there's so many blinks coming in. Another round of unstable concoction catches FY. LGD lose the Roshan, and they lose 3.
I'm so surprised that they took the fight in that way. They held for so long, and then they just gave up the area. Ame decided he was going to go bottom, and then TP's back to base.
And OG is
just going for it.
That if you give them this opening, they're going to push it in a hurry. They do have the Agnum Scepter for Somnus. This is going to be rather important in being able to defend. He throws out the volley with the Burrow Strike. That's going to be a lot of damage to start things off. The Avalanche followed up. Seb, as well as Ana, knocked down to half health. But
that was the buyback from the Sand King.
Going to be able to finish off the Sand King. No buyback from him. There's going to be one coming out from X-Nova. But these heroes are rapidly regenerating up, thanks in part to No Tail and his healing aura. And Ame, He's trying to build up some S and ship charges, more volleys into the back line as he goes, but this is looking like Anna is unstoppable. Jarek's buying them the time with the Sandstorm, making sure everybody gets out except for him, and yeah, that is going to be Jarek's con. Thompson thinking about turning around. He doesn't have a Ravage.
They've come back in.
Anna coming back in. X-Nova going to be saved by so much damage, but in the end, he's going to be left alone. Somnus does manage to finish off Jarek, so support for support trade-off, and LGD still down 2.
But there's no more racks for them to take. They know there's bounty runes. They're going to reset off of that. That'll be a 2-for-1, and the racks taken. Ame's decision and whoever's call it was on PSG.LGD, that might prove to be fatal. The decision to split up, give up that Roshan area to deal with the rest of the waves.
Yep.
You had to have known that OG was desperate to take that Rosh.
And then in the end, once that mistake does happen, trying to cover up that mistake by fighting for the Aegis.
Yes, once Ame, I think he realized he's like, oh man, I actually messed up. So you try to overplay. He BKBs, uses that and his ulti. Once that pops off, OG knows this Slark cannot 5-on-5 against us.
Well, we'll see how well LGD is going to be able to hold, because OG, you know what they want to do.
They're going to get a heart on this Alk, and the regen with the Divine Favor is going to be out of control. Percentage-based heal on percentage-based heal.
Yeah.
The sheer amount of health he'll have.
And again, they still don't have a Spirit Vessel either. That still would have been handled by the Legion Commander with the Press the Attack, which is another great synergy with this Alchemist. So even if he does get chain stun, they'll just have a way to be able to break it.
And somehow they find themselves in the exact same position they did in the previous game.
It's a little bit tougher to go high ground a second time, though.
Oh, look at this. Seb went back for drums so they could all in for it.
Nice.
He knows. He smells blood right now.
He's going to be pulled in soon.
You only go for this item. You go back for this item because you think to yourself, this game's going to be over real quick.
Yes. Somnus. They have the Sandstorm DPS, they have the volley, they have these little things they can throw out, but they have to be able to address the back line of OG. Look at where Thompson is. He's trying to break smokes right now. They're going to sneak over with the Slark, but he's been spotted by. They are going to make the entrance. Two-man Pro Strike. Immediately Raps going down. The unstable concoction cocked up, ready to go. On to Chalice. Well, the duel on to Somnus. He's trying to get the cleaves in, but it just dies. The Earth Splitter goes out, but it's not enough. Ame's building up the damage. Seb has been purged up. Maybe they can finish him off. Chalice actually managed to get away, but at the same time, Ame could not commit for Seb. So in the end, it's just Somnus who died with no buyback.
And that was everything that PSG.LGD had. They committed hard for that fight. They still have the epicenter, but a lot of this damage just being negated by the heart. Anna's just going to go back in.
He needs 60 gold. 60 gold for the buyback on Somnus, or 30 seconds. Which will it be, LGD? Are they going to have to give up 2 lanes of barracks against
look at Jarex.
Jarek's throwing down some volleys of his own. Chalice prepping the epicenter blink. He's going to be able to get the 2 in the back line. Can they actually finish him off this time? They're just so damn tanky. There's no follow-up damage. They don't have the tiny. The pipe is too strong, and Chalice sitting amongst them inside the Sandstorm, trying to push them back, but he's going to have to burrow strike away from Anna as Anna pops another Chemical Rage, turns to the melee barracks. And this is going to be 2 as Ame starts racking up those stacks into the back line. This time he'll commit the BKB to finish off the Chen. Couldn't stop it. And Seb has to complete the teleport in. Managed to get the duel. Can they kill Ame though? The BKB is still going off and he gets more and more stats. Shadow dance away. Anna looking for anything target that's weak, but he has to TP away. He realizes he's low. Disruption's up. He got him. And boy got him. He stalls up Anna, and now Anna. Oh no, the Burrow Strike Challenge. This is not the moment to choke, my friend. But fortunately, Somnus is always there to protect you.
And Thompson in the back line has been chased. Ame with so many stacks, 141 agility. They wanted to get away from that Slark. It took them a little bit too long. They do lose the melee barracks, but that's a 5-man team wipe. PSG.LGD needed that desperately.
And as a result, it was quite the net worth climb for OG in these fights, but it is going to take heavily back down. Is OG now only holding a 5,000 net worth, and Ame is going to start claiming some items, starting with the Shadow Blade, working towards a Silver Edge. We almost have the Solar Crest for the Sand King. Somnus now has a crit with the Crystallis. That volley just gets more and more dangerous, but OG, they only really need 1, maybe 2 more fights.
Look at OG. They're hiding so far behind Jarex. He's being patient right now. They understand that PSG.LGD with the numbers advantage is on the hunt. That's why Ame's going to go all the way around.
He's got his shadow right. He's still got the extra 100 agility he's stolen from earlier. And with the dark pack going out, Jerix, that is not a steal that will get you away from Ame.
That's 123 agility that he still has, and the 11 perma. That's quite a bit of it.
And all the bounty rooms. That is, now look at that, 2,000 net worth. That's it.
And the gold lead is swung now the other way. These two Titans just swinging for the fences right now. And OG has to be careful. Every other team has proved that Mega Creeps does not end the game. If you are consistently getting wiped for just racks, that does not feel good.
At the same time, though, they know that PSG.LGD does not have buyback on their Shadow Demon, Chalice, as well as X-Nova. Do you try and force it anyway in this fight, or are you just waiting for Roshan?
I think you're waiting for Roshan. That's probably your next objective, for both teams, in fact.
Okay.
For OG, it's how you get potentially the last set of racks without having to hard commit. For PSG.LGD, getting it onto Ame so that he doesn't have to use his BKB so soon would be pretty nice. And remember that OG is still on the timer. A lot of these items that they've opted to go for, they're not meant to scale.
I mean, you said it perfectly with Seb, right?
You went
the
back
only
for
reason
drugs.
you go back for drugs is all inning right now.
Yeah, you think I'm going to win this fight, they're going to break, we're going to wipe them, we're going to go for the throne, I'm going to pop my drums active repeatedly. I mean, they've got like 14 auras.
Oh boy, Thompson. He's got his level 20, and he's about to finish up a Desolator. So when Roshan does spawn, they can do it super quickly. But at the same time, PSG.LGD,
Ame uses buyout gold here.
Ame,
gotta be careful. They've got a gem.
The volley, slowing down some of those supports, but they pulled in Anna, and I'm not sure PSG.LGD are ready to take a fight right now. Epicenter, oh, Chalice. Fortunately, he held on to it in a way. He stopped it, so OG don't know he used that big team fight ultimate.
Doesn't feel too good. Ame, whenever you use your buyback gold out like that, it feels so bad. Yes, you have your silver edge, but you don't feel comfortable fighting at this point.
Yeah. A tense game 3 for OG and LGD. This determines who's going to be heading to the grand finals. Will it be a repeat? Will OG beat LGD in the upper bracket finals and go all the way through to the grand finals for the second year in a row? Or will it be LGD changing history, changing the fate, the path that laid before them into Shanghai?
You can forget about the last TI if you win this one.
Yes.
This is the biggest one by far. It'll sting a lot less.
In so many ways, whether it's the prize pool or the pride of finding under your home nation.
The only thing that matters is being the latest champion.
15 to 25, 33 minutes in. We're going to have a split push. OG, they've got 2 towers to take bottom lane. Ame plays the other side of the map. PSG.LGD, they're not looking for a fight until Roshan. And Roshan, it's up right now. Surprising that OG be willing to play the other side of the map, but maybe they feel like LGD just can't do Roshan quickly by themselves.
I think LGD is just waiting for their opportunity to just hold out another high ground assault like that.
Yeah.
That's where their Sand King's going to be the strongest too, is when OG's going to push into him. Plus, PSG.LGD, I think they make the right read on the game. They should feel like if it continues to go on, they will win. I have to imagine this is the Slark.
They're going to try and break him. They're going to toss him into Ame. Ame looking for the break, but no. Thompson gets off the Ravage first on the 4. No real follow-up from OG, though, so honestly, that's good enough for LGD, forcing out that ultimate.
Yeah, with the Ravage down, that would have been the gem. That's why Thompson was so willing to pop that. Even though it might cost you another fight, not losing the gem is the key here.
So OG say, that's fine, we have time. We'll just spend 2 minutes before we take Roshan. LGD are not going to be able to force the issue themselves.
And this is going to be an Ags picked up by Anna. Wonder who he gives it to. Jerix would be a pretty good call.
Thompson now has the Desolator, and he's somewhat close to 25. This is something that Ame may have to start worrying about a little bit.
The lack of armor on Tiny?
No, just the gigantic amount of AoE damage that comes from this anchor smash.
I was being sarcastic.
Somnus gonna be caught, pounced, dead. Woo. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Daedalus soon for Somnus too.
Everybody has so much armor on the side of PSG.LGD.
They really do.
Oh.
This tiny 34 armor. Ame is 25 for himself.
I don't actually think they care about this Deso very much. But I feel like OG's lineup, they're kind of running out of options for what they can get.
Buyback from Seb with this stomp. What's happening here? He's actually going to TP over to Ame, but at the same time, they're still trying to finish off Thompson. That is not going to be good enough unless the
Gem on the ground too.
Right. Gem on the ground. Chalice not able to grab him, but look at the damage rating in from the volley. Ame's now here. The BKB activated, and they quickly realize that with the BKB Chemical Rage, Anna is too tanky to go for. X-Nova thought he was going to be able to get it. Couldn't get the gem. Gem dropped. Thompson reclaims it.
They don't want to give up this Roshan area. Ame's going to hop in. Somnus is going to bottle up that invis. Not that good because of the gem that they still happen to have, but PSG.LGD in a really good position right now. The buybacks were used by OG, but of course, as we saw throughout this game, all that really matters is who gets this Roshan.
That's why everyone's just playing around that mid lane.
They gave the Axe to the Tide, by the way. One of my favorite Ags in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so awkward, and it's like a better version of Venge's Wave of Terror.
I mean, you've got the Gush Armor talent for it, too, so that's minus 12 in a line, plus the Acid Spray. Plus, you know, Solar Crests that are being thrown around on both sides. Disable Concoction pop, the momentary stun onto Ame. Doesn't want to blow his BKB, so he pounces down into the river.
Building up those stacks. He's got 12 perma Agi. That's so much. They're looking for the backline right now. Thompson does have.
He's been confident himself, and he's been a 3-member strike. The Ravage goes off, though, controlling up Ame, and he gets burst down by Thompson. The big swing of the anchor smash. Finish him off. Now Amfly trying to get the force tap. Disruption out. Stomp going in. That's going to be Jarek's already dead. No Tail's quite low as well, but the cores of OG going strong. The buyback coming in from Ame, though. Can he come in? Can he deal with Thompson? Burst strike out for challenge to X-Nova. He's going to be left. Fed to Ana and Thompson.
No Tail about to burn out, but
oh, no Tail almost dying there. The press of the attack helps him, though.
And all the buybacks filtering through. And I lie, Thompson does so much damage.
Dude, Thompson does so much damage, and he doesn't even have their 25 talent yet.
I can't believe Ame died to that. And Roshan's getting really low. We talked about how important this was.
The volley's up, they're going to throw it in, but it's going to be too late to be able to claim Roshan at least. So LGD gonna have to do another one of their famed high ground defenses.
OG just figures it out. They find a way, they dig deep. They figure out a way to win. Look at the net worth and the XP slowly start to climb back in their favor. I figured for sure PSG.LGD's lineup would be stronger at this point, but OG are just out fighting them. Their use of the buybacks feel a little bit better.
And it all starts with Jarek's, right? He gets the telekinesis, the follow-up Ravage, then they Solar Crest the Slark, hit him with the big anchor smash.
Yeah, this is just one team outplaying another at this point. This should be where PSG.LGD is stronger. OG is just looking like
find an opening here, trying to jump onto Ana, force something out, first strike out for the duel. Immediately used onto Tiny. Somnus, is there a save? There's no, oh no, there's no Shatter Demon here.
Chalice is gonna go down too.
Chalice is dead. They both fight back. Ame, he's now here, breaking Ana. No BKB for him, but he does have cheese. Oh, at the epicenter, and the bro strike, they're gonna try and finish off. No Tail, he died, immediately bites back. Ana fighting up against Ame. Ame with the Shadow Dance, though. Cheese immediately popped. They're gonna try and back themselves away, playing the high ground again. OG, will they assault the base again? Or will they just play it slow?
I think they should just go for it again. They've got Ravage in 20 seconds. They've got Aegis. I think Thompson's just going back for mana, and they're going to go for it again. There's no buyback on a lot of these heroes on the side of PSG.LGD. All it's going to take is one more swing, one successful team fight, and OG will have won and secured themselves a top 2 finish at this TI.
250 damage up for Thompson, and he's got Ravage. He can play the front line now. He can be the one hitting the tower if they want.
Ana
Doesn't have buyback himself, but they're just going to allow Thompson to swing away at this tower. Ame looking for an opening, gonna go in,
break up Skullcatcher. He's actually so low already, but he lets loose the Ravage. Are they gonna be able to follow up? They have the disruption. Challenge gonna be able to intercept, making sure the Steph doesn't manage to get the duel. Saw this, force staffed away as well, but they're going in for the Megas right now. They still have a Rax up in top lane, so this is not Megas by itself. Saw this, trying to finish off Thompson. That is maybe gonna be the Aegis one little bit. They spot him out for a moment, and a swing it away. Ame, he almost dies, but the Shattering Dance plus the BKB. He's gonna be able to get away. Unstable concoction, disruption. He's gonna stun himself. He does. Thompson, though, making his way up to top lane, has to force half away. FY in danger of that anchor smash. The finishing blow. OG all in. One last chance to make their way to the grand finals here. Get those Megas, but don't lose your lives forward as they do not have buyback. They don't have the Ravage anymore. Can they get this range barracks? Can they get the Megas? And can they get out afterwards? PSG.LGD.
They're going to have to do this 4-on-5, no buybacks.
Disruption, leading things off, trying to get those illusions, stomp into the backline, doesn't hit anything, and immediately Chemical Rage, that's going to be Megas. PSG.LGD will try and hold against Mega Creeps.
OG, they might not be done yet.
LGD is saying, if we can just draw this out a little bit longer, maybe we can win, but OG may not give the chance. Mega Creeps isn't good enough for this team. They're going to go for the tier 4s, and will this be the blow that ends the game? Will this be the way that they get to the grand finals, or will this be their fatal mistake? One tier 4 down, a break onto Jerix, immediately disruption going out. Ame, he's been disrupted, his illusions, got to stay away from those. He's going to go for Thompson here. BKB activated, Soul Catcher on him, press the attack though, helping him out, Earth Splitter. Oh, but they caught the duel. They caught Ame, and he's dead for 2 minutes. The volley's coming in, but it's not good enough. Now, the physical damage will overwhelm the throne, and PSG.LGD in a 3 versus 5 can no longer hold OG in the upper bracket finals. Bring down LGD. OG are going to the grand finals for the 2nd year in a row.
They will have the opportunity to defend their throne. If you come at the Kings, you best not miss.
OG have done it again. Absolutely unprecedented.
The most stacked TI field that we've ever seen. Probably the best top 4 that we've ever seen, and they're still gonna do it.
Unbelievable, especially with what a great way to start this series too. LGD taking the win in somewhat of a tight game. The crowd backing him, but OG come back twice.
They don't
with
care.
The Alchemist, and they don't care about the crowd.
They won. Oh my lord, I can't believe they get the opportunity to defend. That is incredible. You can see the relief and the happiness. So many doubters.
How have they done it?
It was a fluke. They just sort of like lapsed their way in.
2 flukes in a row. OG is something else. And the crowd, they will give their due.
Or maybe this is just honestly the best team in Dota. Who knows?
They're certainly the best team in this tournament right now. What an unbelievable race from OG. Winning 2-1.
A fluke. A fluke. You cannot call it a fluke anymore as we see OG make their way to another grand final. And we're going to take a look into the coach's room of OG when they actually see it happen. Such a huge achievement. And the question is, will they actually get an achievement that no one has gotten before? Will they not only win 2 TIs, will they win back-to-back TIs? I mean, we're really staring at that potential right now. If you were going to pick a team to take them down, would it be LGD? Is that rematch happening in the grand final?